and welcome to Poker Night Live. I'm Kara Scott, and this is Nick Wealthall.
Hello.
And hello.
Hello.
Hello indeed. And for the evening, we're going to be here taking you through Texas Hold'em poker of the online variety.
Yes.
Yes. Cash games, sit and goes, multi-table tournaments, it's all here. And may I just add, this is a fully interactive show. That means that you back there at home, if you've got a question about poker, it might be about your own home games, it might be about strategy, it might be about something you see here on the show tonight, you can let us know what that is.
What we're wearing.
Anything, his hair, anything you like. No, not the hair. We've done that. It's done, isn't it?
It's a miracle of modern science, but it's done.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. But anyways, you can let us know here in the studio what your questions are in a couple of different ways. And that's the first one there up on the screen. Text us, text poker and your question to 84222, or send us an email. Let us know what sort of poker things you're doing this weekend. Poker at pokernightlive.co.uk. You can even talk a little bit about football if you have to, because I hear there's something happening at the moment. Football-wise,
Kara, say football like that.
Football.
There you go. Brilliant. I'll be going to do other stuff throughout the course of the evening. Good.
Thanks. There you go. Engerland. So there you go. So you can even do a little bit of that if you have to, but we could declare it a football-free zone. Ooh, that's never going to happen.
It's not, I mean, you know, it's only just started.
This is true. This is true. I like it.
I think tomorrow is a good day to be in the charcoal business.
Yeah?
There's going to be more barbecues tomorrow, I think, than England. Hot sunny day, isn't
gorgeous.
it?
It's going to be amazing.
Not a day for poker. I never thought I'd say that.
Really?
Afterwards.
Yeah,
still
bit
in
of
the
poker
evening.
afterwards with your friends around the table. In fact, this is something. Can you relate poker in any way to football? Are there analogies where they, you know, it seems to be the same? Can you give us some good football examples of how to play better poker?
Women are bad at both. It's a joke. It's obviously a joke. I wouldn't have said it, would I?
Well, it's obviously not a very good joke, but then again, you did say it.
Yeah,
so that is obvious.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Women are better at poker than men. We all know that. I wish it wasn't true, but it's true. Sadly, it's true.
Yeah, he really doesn't believe
I do.
it.
Women are better. Person for person. Women are better at poker than men.
Let's go around the tables and see what we're doing tonight, because seriously.
Yeah, and that's going to win the discussion, isn't it? Putting your hand up. Just because you're an international travelling individual doesn't mean to say you can put your hand up and make me stop talking, all right?
It worked.
Kara's just come back from continental Europe and she's very excited about it, aren't you?
I am. I've only been back a couple hours.
It's a $5 tournament. Czech Republic, I hear.
It was indeed.
Prague.
It was indeed.
This is a $10 tournament for those keeping up with current events. This is the part of the show I don't understand, this round the tables bit, can I be honest? I love this show, but I don't get this bit.
Really?
I'm going to ask for an official explanation. There's a 25-cent, 50-cent cash game, which you may be enjoying in a minute, but you may not. That's the suspense, isn't it? That's what it is. It's the tease. Here are 4 things that may happen to you in a minute. This is the multi-table tournament. This is the best tournament in the history of online poker. I say this every week, and it turns out I keep working Friday nights.
I know, and me too, which means I can't actually enter this tournament, which I'm gutted because, seriously,
free money.
2,000 added money. That's amazing.
For those of you not familiar with the lingo, just exactly what it suggests. The online site has put $2,000 into this tournament, and there's only about $1,000 of buy-in, so they've tripled the buy-ins.
This is very true.
It's all right, isn't it?
Oh, it's not bad at all.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
When you were in Prague,
yes,
at the end of your meal in the restaurant, did you say, "Can I have the check, please?" And did the waiter go and grab somebody from the street?
That's terrible. Oh, that's so bad. Yeah. No, I did the international symbol for "Can I have the check," which is to look embarrassed and kind of point at my hand and do this. And it seemed to work.
And then he brought you a man off the street.
Yeah.
Because
this check will he do?
Yeah, because check
yes,
is the people, and it also means the bill.
Oh, I see, because that wasn't clear.
No.
That's tumbleweed,
Yeah,
right
get
there.
that a lot.
Go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's lots more where that came from.
It's Friday night. Can we do the weekend shout out thing? Try that again. If you're playing poker this weekend, if you've got a home game this weekend, if you're playing in a tournament, playing in a festival, where are you playing? Who are you playing with? You're looking forward to it? Whose money are you going to be taking? We will shout out to your home games Only
Yes,
because it's
we
a sunny
will.
Friday.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's a good idea because we did do it the last time on a weekend we were on, and it did start to work.
It did start to work. I think we were on something.
Yeah, I'll be playing.
My
here,
sister is
there.
having a football barbecue, then poker night tomorrow.
Oh, that's nice.
So a shout out to Helen.
Shout out to Helen. Shout out to my brother who plays a lot of online Texas Hold'em in Canada, who may be watching via the magic of the internet.
Why not get your own shout outs on here on Poker Night Live?
There you go. Just let us know who you are and where you're playing, because that would be quite cool.
It'd be cool.
No, it would be.
Cool.
Now, let's take a look at our multi-table tournament, see a little bit about the beginning of this tournament, take a look at the structure, take a look at some of the players, and then throughout the night we'll be coming back to it, and then we'll take a look at the final table. Very exciting, right at the end of the night. Let's go.
What's happened to the new graphics?
What do you mean?
Oh, it's a completely different site. Oh, that's interesting. The other night, yeah, you haven't seen them. The other night I was
No.
on, they had little chairs.
Did they?
Yeah, it was really good.
Oh.
I miss those little chairs. Nice situation for El Pig.
Oh, good old El Pig.
King's out of the small blind. That is a nice situation.
It certainly is. And these are some of the players that are left. Down from the original 112, we now have 97 players left.
It's an interesting slow play, that, from El Pig. He's unlucky not to get a bet. Sorry, Cara, I'm very interested by this hand. I apologise.
No, go for it,
I know you've got more interesting things on your mind, but
Oh, excuse me.
I thought I'd commentate on what's happening on the tables for a change.
Yeah, why don't you then? Do a bit of work. Earn your money there, Mr. Wealthall.
Yeah, we'll
You
do
are
that in the
expert.
first quarter of an hour and then we'll move on. Well, El Pig's got the king on the end. It doesn't make much difference. Makes him feel more confident, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that he played this hand brilliantly. I would go that far. He made a very, very nice check on the flop, which he was unlucky not to get Chris to bet.
Right.
But it was a good slow play, and then he bet the turn and played it perfect, I would say.
Okay.
He's got it off to a quality start tonight.
Well done, El Pig. He is one of our regular multi-table players, and he does seem to do quite well.
Well, we've got our two... I mean, I don't have any statistical information to back this up. So basically it's just anecdotal, but El Pig and Ram Chip are definitely two of the better
Yeah.
multi-table tournament players.
They do seem to stand out.
And they're sitting next to each other.
Oh, isn't that nice?
And Dead-Eyed probably isn't having a happy time, because if
Yeah.
one of them doesn't steal this blind, the other one probably will.
Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? The place you take at a table can be very important. So if you know a lot of the people,
extremely important, yeah.
you don't often get to choose, obviously, if you're in a multi-table tournament. But when you sit down in a sit and go, you do have to be quite careful where you put
Yeah.
yourself.
Absolutely, always.
One of our regulars, Hoofy, always sits in the 3 seat, no matter who's around him. It just seems to be more important to him.
Has he ever revealed why?
I don't believe he has, you know.
Poker at pokernightlive.co.uk, Hoofy. Why do you always sit in the 3 seat? We know you do, but why?
Why?
Is there some
Inquiring minds
reason?
want to know. Yeah, so the football's over for the evening now, isn't it?
Is it?
I believe it is.
So we have their full attention.
Oh, obviously. It's been turned off, even
I
while
don't
it's
actually
playing in the
know. I've got
background.
no idea. Maybe the emailers will tell us tonight if poker players in general like sport or not.
I'd say human British males
Do.
like
In
the
the main.
football. Yeah, generally. And I'm saying that as a generalisation, obviously.
I'd
there will
imagine
be
some of the more
exceptions.
kind of bookish, geeky, antisocial poker players, you know, like Casper. I'd imagine that they don't enjoy the football so much.
Oh, gosh, I hope he's watching.
I do too. I'm just razzing him, just using humour. They certainly like, poker players certainly like betting on sports.
This is
There's
true.
a big crossover with sports betting.
Betting in general.
Mr. James Brownlee, of course, has made a portion of his living sports betting for many
Really?
years.
Wow.
Yes, he does it very seriously.
I'll say, he must do. He must indeed.
You've clearly seen his car.
I have. I'm a fan of his car, I have to say.
I hope we stay with this multi-table tournament for a while, because it really is a good table, this.
Well, let's take a look at this hand. You know, it's been a little while since I've played any poker myself. I feel like
What is that, Cara?
I'm a bit out of the loop because I was away.
Is it because you've been internationally travelling, your damn self?
Yes,
that's not even a sentence.
It must be. No, it really isn't a sentence whatsoever.
I tried to be a bit jive there, and it went badly wrong.
But at least you tried.
Well, you say that.
Yeah. No, so if I am a little bit hyper tonight, I apologise to the viewers because it's the huge amounts of coffee I've been putting into myself in order to kind of get through the travelling and whatnot. Difficult. There we go, ace-10 for creamed cage. Seems to be the only real hand out there, and luckily in the small blind. Chris might just think he's trying to steal a blind.
What's that? NCFC, Notts County, maybe? Is it, Chris? Poker@pokernight.live.co.uk?
Oh,
is it Notts
I
County?
knew what this was. Is it Newcastle? I think.
Is it?
It might be Newcastle Football Club.
Yeah, could be.
It might be.
I think it's Notts County. Do you want to bet a pound with me?
Not counting.
Notts
Oh,
County.
I see. Not county. Sorry, your funny
Not
English
counting
accent.
football club.
Well, that's why I asked. It seemed a bit silly. And see, now I've missed what actually happened in that hand. Thank you very much.
Get used to it. Well, look at this. Will we have action here between the two multi-table tournament maestros?
Because this does sometimes happen if you're lucky. And you get something in the big or small blind.
Yes.
The other person thinks that you're just bluffing, that you're trying to steal the blinds, and bets into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm surprised Ramchip's raised there, I have to say.
Yeah? You think you should have just checked? Or just...
Well, he's got the money
Oh,
out
whoa.
of LP, so what do I know?
Alpeg obviously thinks he's just trying to be a bully. It's a difficult situation. Because now Alpeg has just lost a fair proportion of his stack, about a third of his stack.
That's one of those ones where, this is going to sound like a stupid comment, but it isn't. That's one of those ones where, because we can see the cards, it's so much easier to say how you should play it. But Ramchip's probably played with LP before, he probably knows what he's doing. But I would have said a couple of times, he could have just called LP's bet.
Yeah.
And, you know, when LP rose to 1,000 there, he could have tried to let him bluff again maybe on the next street. But I suppose what Ramchip was probably thinking, and why don't you both email in poker@pokernight.live? So I'd love to know what you think. It's a very interesting hand. I suspect what Ramchip was thinking is that LP might have been on the flush draw. And if he is on the flush draw, he doesn't want to let him draw it. He wants to get his money in there and then, basically.
Right.
I suspect that's why he didn't slow play it.
Which is fair enough, if you think
It's
there's danger
fair,
to your...
Yeah, it's fair enough. I think sometimes heads up, you can take that chance because it's actually reasonably unlikely that they have the flush draw. Then again, anytime you do take that chance, it can come back and bite you. So it was an interesting one, definitely. And that, you're absolutely right. What you were saying is, you do get interesting hands in the windy pops. You do get interesting hands in the blinds. Sometimes, especially when you have two players that are prepared to make moves.
Yeah. And Baz there was in the big blind in the last hand and had a pair of sixes. Everyone else folded. Chris put in a raise, put in a bet. And Baz was quite good enough to just let it go. Because it can be difficult to let go of the big blind. If you've put in, you know, significant sort of investment into the pot, you have to realise that once you've done that, everyone has to do that in their own turn. You have to put in the big blind, you have to put in the small blind. It's not like it's your money, your chips anymore. You have to let it go and just play the cards that you have.
Didn't I teach you that?
You did, in fact. You great guru of poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that mentality you have to get used to. Once the money is in the pot, it's irrelevant whether you put it there or somebody else put it there. It belongs to the pot. It doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
So you have to make your decision from then onwards. And very similar in life. Just because you've committed 5 years to a relationship, meaningless. If it's not right, give it up.
Wow. Bitter much?
No, I just think that's right, isn't it?
No, I agree. I agree with you.
And
absolutely.
I don't think people
generally
think like that.
No, I think I think that's a good way that poker informs life.
So what I'm saying is, Friday night, you've enjoyed the football, you've had a beer, end your relationships.
Yeah.
And then play some poker.
You'll have more time for it. And for the football.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing. I just caught a glance at an email you're looking through and it says, great show. How can they possibly know? We've literally only just started and it hasn't been the best start.
No, it's not been the best start, has it? Not entirely smooth, no.
I blame me.
Well, I blame you, but I'll be fair, I blame me. I think I'm probably still a little bit, you know...
you're doing great.
Oh,
in very difficult
much.
circumstances.
Aww. No. Seriously, though, that's one way that poker does inform life, and I imagine that there are a fair few relationships that break up at the beginning of World Cup season every 4 years.
Really?
Just to give people that much more time to watch the football without being nagged.
I think it's quite funny when people go out and buy new tellies.
Oh.
I
Every
find
4
that
years,
really...
it's not so bad.
I know, but it's just quite odd because it's like, we were prepared to watch things on this telly, but now that it's a really big football match, we need a different telly. It's a curious relationship, that, but there we are.
Yeah. Well, someone here has taken up the gauntlet that I threw down really clumsily at the beginning of the show and saying, how can you relate football to poker? Because I think it's quite an interesting idea. The whole country, the whole world is going to be talking about football for, well, a month. And there's no getting away from it.
If we win it, 18 years is how long we'll be talking about it.
Yeah. If we lose it, 18 years. Seriously, come on. Whether we win, whether we lose, it's going to be just interminable. In the best possible way.
When you
I
say
mean
we...
that, obviously. I'm a British citizen. Don't mock me.
No, I'm not mocking you, I'm just saying.
Obviously, Canada's not in the World Cup, are they? No.
No.
So I'm a British citizen.
Sorry, Kara. I know you're British citizen.
Ingerland.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Ingerland. But yes, someone's actually emailed in and tried to give me a few ideas of how football and poker kind of correlate. So if you want to do that as well, you can send me emails and you can send me text messages also. Now I've got one here from NWO, I was just mentioning.
It's not me. NW, it's not me. Somebody else.
NWO.
I wasn't getting the ball rolling with
Nick
an email.
Wealthall off. Yeah.
Off suit.
Off suit. Nice suit, by the way.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Not entirely off at all. Okay, here we go. Email from NWO says, hi guys, great show. He says that getting dealt 7-2 off is like going 1-0 down in the first minute. Yeah, I suppose so. I can see what you're going with there. It says getting re-raised all in by someone under the gun with queen is like missing a penalty. Ouch, okay. Hitting a full house on the turn is going 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go. Is this all making sense to you? Being, you know, a blow.
Full house on the turn has got to be like 5-0 up with 10 minutes to go, hasn't it?
Yeah?
I don't know.
Okay, well, there you go. And hitting a royal flush is like winning 4-0 in the cup final.
That's fair.
And that is very fair, isn't it? And getting the nuts busted by a fluke on the river is losing a penalty shootout to the Germans. There we go. So that's not bad.
Or losing any game to Man United.
Whatsoever.
Under any circumstances.
Ever. Yeah, well, that's good. Now let us know how football and poker correlate in your life. How do you think they match up?
Maybe somebody could do players and hands.
Ooh, that's an idea. There you go.
Maybe.
That's something to think about as well.
Yeah.
You should have a think about that. Maybe jot some notes down. And we're going to go take a look probably at a sit and go, I believe, aren't we?
Okay.
Is that the one? There we go.
Let's have a look.
I think it's coming up right about now. $10 sit and go. The blinds are 10 and 20, which means it's in the beginning part of this sit and go. This is a single table tournament instead of a multi-table tournament. And that differs in lots of different ways. If you take a look at a single table tournament versus a multi-table tournament, there's obviously fewer players because there's only the one table. If you take a look at the structure, the blinds tend to go up a little slower. Maybe they don't go up slower in terms of when the levels of the blinds go up, but the amount of the blinds go up slower. So there's often a lot more play in the chips by the time you get to the final table or the final few players, so that's another good thing. There's often a lot more places paid because there's so many more people in them, and that's a multi-table tournament, obviously. So the single table tournaments, they don't take quite as long, unless you bust out early of a multi-table, and not quite as lucrative sometimes. But very, very, very good poker to be played here.
Well, they are the most defined type of poker you can play because you know if you're there for the long haul, you've got about an hour and a quarter. Something of that order. You know, defined period of time, defined amount of money, who your opponents are going to be as well. As we said, multi-table tournament, you get moved around, sit next to different people. But the people you start off with are the people you finish with in this. And, yeah. They're very, very popular. They're very, very popular because you can play, it's fast and exciting.
Yeah. You
can play some short-handed later on. You've got a good chance of winning. Even if you're not one of the best players, you've still got a good chance of winning because there's only 8 or 10 people in them. Just drink from either mug. What's the problem?
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying,
Carry
if I've
on.
got anything, you're going to catch it. It's sitting 3 feet away from me.
Well, maybe I didn't want to drink out of your mug out of politeness. For crying out loud, Nick. Carry on with the commentary.
I'm so cross. And that's why they're popular. And they're also popular because if it goes wrong, you can go and do another one almost immediately. So it's fast and fun, and you know, and that's why people like them. Don't like them myself.
That's not true.
No, it is. I do like them compared to, say, doing the washing up, but I don't like them compared to other types of poker.
Okay.
There, I've said it. A year on the show and I've come clean.
Wow.
But they're good from a TV point of view. They're good to watch.
Well, yeah, and just for the reasons you've said as well, because they're quick. You can kind of get in and get out. They're fairly long so that you can get an idea of different styles of play, especially if you watch a couple of them with the same sorts of players in them. And, yeah, you know the people you're sat down at the table with by the end. You're not going to be moved around while tables are being broken down like in a multi-table tournament. The basic rules are all the same, of course. Texas Hold'em, at its most basic form, the rules are always the same. Everyone starts out with 2 hole cards. And they can see their own hole cards, but not each other's. So through the magic of television, we get to show you everyone's hole cards, but that's just so you can see why and how people are playing according to the cards they have. But we do show this at a delay. So anyone who's at home actually playing in this game right now, for instance, Snaky, might be watching the show as well as playing this game.
Well, there's Wayne Wallace.
Or Wayne Wallace.
Last time I was on, he sent an email saying, please watch me play and tell me how I play. And I don't think we showed him that time.
Well, you're going to have to do some nice commentary here then for him.
Okay.
He's got a pair of 4s and he's limping in.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
I think it's okay.
Okay. Blinds are only at 10 and 20. It's not going to cost him a huge amount. He might, on an off chance, hit a 4 on the flop and get chips.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's fine.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Wayne Wallace? Nick thinks it's fine.
And then he threw his cards away to a bet on the flop.
Which is, again,
Also good.
Fine. Yes, absolutely. The right way to play. And that's what happens. So everyone has a round of betting on their hole cards. The blinds are the forced bets that are put in. Other types of poker obviously have bets as well called antes, where everyone will ante up if they like the cards they have. But in order to get the action moving in Texas Hold'em, the 2 people to the left. I'm just trying to check out my lefts and rights here. To the left of the dealer button, place the small and the big blind, and that's so-called based on the amounts that are put in, and they do tend to go up in a sit and go or a single table tournament as the time goes through. Now, they put in the bets. Everyone at the table is going to have to at least match the big blind in order to stay and see the flop. And the flop are the 3 community cards that come down in the center of the table.
The important principle is that everybody must have put the same amount of money into the middle, into the pot,
Yes.
before you proceed to the next betting round.
To make it even.
Yes. So here you can see that the bet's been raised to 120. Everyone needs to put in 120, and then we move on. That's how we
Well
work.
said.
That's how we work. Thanks, Karen.
Well said. That's how it works, and that's how we word it.
That's how we work and word it.
Yeah, because it's quite clear that way. And then the flop comes down. So, for example, the 6, the queen, and the ace would have been the flop. There's another round of betting, which has to be equalized before we can move on. If someone raises the bet, everyone else has to match it. And then you get the turn, which is the next card to come down. It's also a community card. And then you get the river. And there is a round of betting between those, and there's a round of betting after as well. And you can win in one of 2 ways in poker. Is that not correct?
Absolutely correct, Kara Scott.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm on a bit of a roll here.
You're on fire.
The two ways that you can win are you can either have the best cards in a showdown. So if you're up against someone else, say, for example, heads up between maybe Snaky and Bullets, They go heads up at the end. They decide to turn their cards over. They've equalized the betting. Whoever has the best 5-card hand made out of the 7 cards, which is the 5 community cards and their own 2, whatever 5-card hand out of those is the best will win the money. The second way you can win is by making a bet that nobody else either wants to or can equal.
This is unique to poker, isn't it, Kara?
It is unique to poker,
What
indeed.
you can potentially do is win with the worst score.
This is true. It's like Germany and Costa Rica playing football.
Yeah.
And Germany gets 4 goals. Costa Rica only gets 2, but Costa Rica comes out and goes, actually, we won. We had 17 goals.
Yeah.
You just didn't see them. And
Germany
goes, oh, well,
all
right, well, I'm not willing to risk it. The game is yours.
That's what it's like.
That's what it's like.
Completely unique. That's why poker is such a compelling game. If it didn't have that element to it, it wouldn't be anything like as popular.
I think you're right. It's got that element which is, it's not lying per se. It's a bit of bluffing. It's got that extra edge where it's not just about using the cards, it's about using your skills at reading people, using your skills and your nerve to represent cards you don't have.
It is, fundamentally, it is a people game. And that's why nobody has yet written a computer program that can beat an expert poker player.
True.
Because it isn't chess, it isn't backgammon, it is a game where you can, we can teach the people at home. As we see Big Sham go all in, a bullet should throw this away. We can teach the people at home some really good guidelines. I can teach you, somebody better than me can teach me. We can improve each other's play, but we can never give each other hard and fast rules to play this game.
Yes.
Because it's completely situational, because it depends on who you're playing. There are certain times when it's right to do everything that the guidelines would say is wrong, because you're playing a certain player and you're doing something specific as that player.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it's a people game, and it's very easy to lose sight of that in all of our learning.
Yes.
And in all of our talking about starting hands and whether you should call, whether you should raise. That's my piece on that.
It's true, but you have to walk before you can run as well.
Oh, absolutely. You need to learn the fundamentals first, yeah.
But then you can play around with them, and as a lot of the commentators say, it's tools, not rules. Is that Cass's? I think that's Cass.
No, Cass uses it a lot, but I don't think he can claim that he owns it. I don't think he invented it.
Oh, all right. Well, I do like it. Tools, not rules. It's very important. You can be given all kinds of really great principles, but if you adhere to them as though they were rules, they're not going to stand you in good stead.
It's particularly true in poker, but it's true when you learn anything, I think.
Like football?
Particularly football.
Ah.
Well, in football you learn the basic techniques, but how you execute those and when you execute those, that's it. It comes down to judgment, and your judgment only gets better with experience and thinking about the game and talking about it, and of course watching Poker Night live.
True. And watching the people you play against and getting a feeling for what they're about to do, and that sort of sixth sense, even.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want your emails, don't we, tonight, Kara?
Yeah, we do. We want some emails
It's
tonight.
Friday night.
I'd love to hear from you. It's Friday night.
Just say hi.
Just say hello. Yeah. You know what? You know how it was the 6th of the 6th of the 6th on like Thursday or something?
Right.
Did you feel particularly evil by any chance?
No more so than
I
usual.
Did
you?
I did, and I didn't even know it was the 6th of the 6th of the 6th. I felt entirely evil, and then someone at the end of the day said to me, geez, it must be the whole 666 thing. And I was like, oh, maybe it was actually. I felt distinctly evil. If you felt evil, you can let me know. Email or text, let us know here at the show. We want to hear all about your poker questions as well. If there's anything that's been burning in your brain, you've been dying to ask the expert about, you can text us or you can email us. And there you go. Email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And we'd love to hear from you tonight. It is Friday night.
Yes.
We have just finished the first day of the World Cup. So
anyone else having a barbecue/football/poker day tomorrow?
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know indeed.
In the Czech Republic, were they World Cupped up?
Definitely. I think it's the first time in 18 years or something that the Czech Republic have been in the World Cup.
Is
They've
it?
been in the European Cup, I believe, but not the World Cup. So they're very excited, and their signs up everywhere. Lots of football jerseys. You know those little dolls that stack up inside of each other?
Yeah.
They've got those, but in football players.
Oh, yeah.
Very cute. It's very funny. And the food there, I have to say, because one of our regulars has emailed in as well, and she, I believe, is from Prague. I think she's Czech. And that's Miss V, the lovely Miss V, or Queen V, as I call her, Miss Vodovova. And yeah, the food there was amazing, I have to say.
Was it?
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible.
I went to Eastern Europe quite a lot when I was younger, and
Yeah.
the food was awful.
Oh gosh, no. We went to this great
Potatoes
restaurant.
for dessert.
I know, well, the sweet potato things, they weren't very nice, but the food that we had was amazing. We had everything that we could find on the menu that seemed really strange. We had like maiden's plat of pork traversed with garlic. Just wondering how the pork and the garlic did traverse together, but still it was lovely. And pig's knee, pork knee, wow. That was some of the best food I've ever had.
Really?
It was amazing. And I had beef goulash, and we had herring a la salmon. So it's like fish wrapped in fish. It was really, really good. I loved it. But apparently Miss V said, she said she hopes I enjoyed her country's hospitality. She was there last weekend, and ordering the bill is check prosem. So now I know. I don't have to do the whole I look embarrassed and point at my hand. I don't know why we do that for trying to get the check. Check, please. Check prosem. There you go. Hope you're playing later. Ollie. Oh, thanks, Miss V.
Nice.
Yeah, that's very nice. I will be playing later, definitely. Hopefully I'll have calmed down a bit from the caffeine buzz by that point.
You can play fast and loose.
Uh-oh. I'm not letting anything go here. I'm not giving anything away.
Okay.
There we go. Wayne Wallace has 9 queen.
Well, he's getting 5 to 1 on his money to call.
Yeah.
I think players put too much emphasis on that personally, because the bottom line is he's still out of position and he still doesn't have a particularly good hand. I mean, what does he want to see on the flop is always my question.
Yeah. I'm surprised
If
at bullets.
a queen comes down, he can't possibly know whether he's winning or not.
Yeah.
But, you know, players have a different attitude to that question.
Well, now he's got a hand, ace-jack. That's not so bad. In the sort of mid stages of a tournament.
That's not so bad.
Not so bad. He's in a small blind, so his position is better than it was. Actually, no, it's not. It's worse than it was, because he was the big blind. Sorry. I was thinking that Melland was the big blind, but that's not true.
Melon Nat.
I don't know.
Is
Melland Nat? Yeah, Melland Nat.
Is that 2 ladies playing?
It could be. Or it could be
It could be like
Mel
Mel
and Nathan.
Nathan, like they put on their escort in the 80s. Do you remember when they had?
Oh, yeah, it could be. That's quite sweet. Well, Wayne Wallace got paid off for that. Even taking down the blinds is not such a bad thing.
It's absolutely fantastic thing, taking down the blinds. That's
Ooh.
3 chips.
3 chips, and he's got ace-king, so he's made a move in the last 2 hands, or thereabouts. People are going to start thinking, oh, he's not got anything, he's just trying to steal the blinds.
Well, he'll have a he won't have a decision. I thought that the big blind would re-raise with the 9s there, but he didn't. And Wayne does a little slow play check. And that's a bad bet from
Is it?
Wayne. It is.
What should he have done?
He should have just checked. Now,
Why? But why? Isn't he trying to...
well, it's vexed, Kara.
It's vexed.
Oh, I just accept what I say and move on. Do I have to justify
You
it?
do, I'm afraid.
Christmas.
But he wanted to get more chips
Look
out
at
of...
that. That's what to do when you go all in. Flop 2 pair with queen
Ooh,
3.
very
Very
nice.
clever. King will destroy his hopes and dreams. No. The principle would be, with 1 pair like that on the river, he should check, because he can turn the cards over there and then and find out whether he's won or not.
Right.
Whereas if he bets, he will probably only be paid by a better hand than him. So he'll probably only be called if he's losing.
Okay.
Now, as it happened, we gave the lie to that, because I think he called him. Actually, I'm not quite sure. It happens so fast on the river on these sites. I think he called him. But that doesn't change the general principle. The general principle is, if it's checked to you on the river, you should normally check and turn your cards over, and you should only bet when you're either trying to make a bluff or when you're very strong.
And you should only bluff if you are very strong at that point. Because otherwise,
It's
you're
not,
only
it's not
going
a bluff
to be
if
beaten.
you're very strong.
Okay. Oh, well, fair enough. I'm sorry. You're right. But if you try to make a bluff, you've already said that you're only going to be called by a stronger hand. So bluffing at that point is not such a great idea, is it?
Bluffing on the river is a yeah, it's a tricky thing to pull off. Not always, sometimes, but yeah, you. Later on in your poker life, there will be situations where you should bet the river because you've got a player that you think you can make call you for other reasons. But the general principle, called the river principle, I believe, by Dr. Tom. But the general principle is that you should usually
check on the river.
You should be very careful about betting the river.
Okay.
Especially when you're in late position, when you're the second person to act, and you can check and turn your cards over and see whether you've won or not for free.
Yeah.
We've burst our bubble. Big Shan's left us. Sorry to see you go, Big Shan. 3 players lift. These 3 players are money winners.
Yes, they are. They are our money winners. So from now on, they're going to be battling it out to see who comes first, second, and third. But they all do win something. They all at least get their entry fee back.
Well, at least double.
At least double their entry fee back. Even the third
place. Yeah.
Very nice.
It's a little bit under double, but
yeah,
they've
not
all
quite
made
double,
some money. That's the key.
That is key. They've put in the time and the effort, and they've made a bit of money.
Melon Nat has a marginal decision, decides Ace-5 is not good enough, which they were right about. Are there 2 of you? poker@pokernutlive.co.uk. Who are you?
I believe they happen to be Mel and Nat, in fact.
I think that they're 2 young women, probably at home there, relaxed, playing in their pyjamas.
Aww.
And it's anyone's tournament. Mel and Nat are the short stack, but one hand could change that. I think the chips will be going in here. Ace-10. And the jacks obviously are going to play. Mel and Nat need an ace or a jack. Doesn't happen. They finish third. Good effort. But we're heads up. Wayne Wallace versus the man with too many consonants.
You make him sound a bit, I don't know, Dirty Harry or a little bit John Wayne or something.
Well, he's very, I imagine he is very like that. Well, both of them have something here, which is not always the case, heads up. But Wayne Wallace can't get away from the pair and the straight draw, and that's it. We have a winner. Quipui has won.
I don't think that's how you say it, but I can't quite get my head around it.
Right, well, how do you say it then?
QPWOI.
Let's just call him Darren.
Darren.
Yeah, it's easier to say.
You just want him to email in and tell you that that's not his name.
I just want to know what his real name is and what his hobbies and interests are.
Feeling a bit like you need a bit of company.
I want to connect with the viewers.
There you go, viewers. He wants to connect with you. And in fact, we have an email here from Mark. It's a bit of a long story, but I wanted to get this in as soon as possible because it says that he's going to be away from his computer this evening.
Do you remember, Cara Scott, when we did a show recently and you tried to pray seal on the email?
Oh, no, I'm not going to do that this time.
That was brilliant.
That was terrible. It was the end of the night. I was trying really hard to just shorten this email, and it just went horribly wrong.
And in the end, you just decided to give up.
And read the whole thing. And it took about 3 times as long as it should have.
Yeah.
Right, now I'm not going to do that.
All right,
Happy memories. Here we go. This is from Mark. And Mark says, I know this is a bit early for sending an email, but unfortunately, I'm going to be unable to use my computer this evening. So hopefully you're still watching on your television, and it wasn't just on the computer you were watching. I emailed into the show on Saturday and asked Sir James about any advice he could give on playing my first live game. I just thought I'd let you know how I got on. Thank you very much. He says, I played it on Wednesday, and it was a 33 rebuy tourney. There were 63 runners at the Grosvenor in Newcastle with unlimited rebuys for 90 minutes. So Newcastle, nice. I've been hearing a lot about Newcastle and poker. He says, as per the advice given by Sir James, I showed up an hour early and got to know the layout. When the game started, I was fairly nervy, but after a few bevies, I calmed down. Well, you know what? A nice glass of water always calms me down as well. So well done. Good thinking there. He says, I was fortunate to find ace-ace as my hole cards at only the second hand. I was in the big blind on a 9-seater table. 5 players went all in pre-flop, and of course I called. 5 players went all in pre-flop in the second hand. That's crazy. I think I want to go play in Newcastle. I managed to increase my stack 5-fold in only the second hand. I made it through 90-minute rebuy, not having to rebuy at all. And I was large stacked going into the second half, and running the advice through my head that Sir James had given me, I was able to stay cool, calm, and collected. We started playing at 7:30. I can see you making faces, Nick. Please don't do that. We started playing at 7:30 and played into the early hours. After nearly 7 hours of play, I made it to the final table. Rather short stacked, I must say. Anyways, long story short, I finished with
Really?
Stop
Sorry.
it. Right. Long story short, I finished in 4th place out of 63 runners. That's fantastic. Not bad for my first ever live game. Once again, thank you to Sir James and the rest of the Poker Night Live team. That's what we're here for. One quick question. Could someone clarify something for me? Nick Wealthall. He just wants to know, Nick, what your nickname is, what your favorite nickname is. Let's just say that's what his question is. Good luck and be the presenter. I think that's for me. And keep up the excellent work. Thanks.
well done, Cara.
Thanks very much.
I think he was praising James, wasn't he? Sorry, no.
No, he did
you.
say keep up the excellent work, and he said good luck and beat the presenter. Thank you. Over to you.
Is it Nick the hair or Nick the teeth?
It does say, is it Nick the hair or Nick the
Neither
teeth?
has been officially ratified, so it's neither.
We're still undergoing the referendum. If anyone wants
There
to
is
get
no
their...
no, there is no referendum. I have no nickname.
Okay, well, Nick the...
Those are the 2 politest ones that have been suggested, though.
Really?
To be fair.
I wouldn't even
Well
wanna
done.
know.
Well done on your first.
Yeah, absolutely. Well
Very
done.
good.
Coming 4th out of 63 in your first live game. That's fantastic.
That's brilliant.
Thank you for letting us know. We always say, please do let us know how you're doing. And it's like a retrospective shout-out. Well done for playing in Newcastle.
We'll do those.
Yeah,
Tonight we're chilled out.
That's fine by me. Now we have cash game action to take a look at before we take our first break, because this is one of those shows where we just try to cram as much in as possible. Great. Here we go. Let's take a look. Now this is, I think, one of the teasers that we had on at the beginning of the show, where you were mocking.
I love that bit at the beginning of the show, because
mocking
it
it.
kind of shows you what might come up, which I think is brilliant.
Maybe, if you're lucky.
Look at this. We've got a straight and a flush and a straight flush draw for Snap It.
Wow. Go
He's got
Snap
too
It.
many things.
How does he do that? How does he manage
I
that?
don't know. That's
The man
amazing.
is brilliant. The man is just a little on the brilliant side.
A legend. Well, he's got this all locked up, no question. Who else can we see? Tragic Trev, good evening. I haven't had an email from Tragic Trev on the show I've been on for ages. Can you email me, please, tonight, Tragic Trev?
I know.
I
like
believe
that
it's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
I think you're right.
Joey the Lips, another one of my nicknames. Actually, who's got bigger lips, me or you?
I don't know.
They're both quite weighty, aren't they?
Oh. You know what? When I was in Prague the other day, recently, only a few hours ago, I was sat at one of those outdoor cafes in the square, and a man came up and who was doing silhouettes. You know, they cut out of black paper.
Oh, yeah.
But he did my profile, and I could see him out of the corner of my eye, puzzling over my nose. Anyone who's ever seen me in profile knows that I have a very striking nose. Thank you very much. It's quite Romanesque.
Quite sexy.
Well, it's got a big bump on it as well. It kind of looks like
That's
I broke
the
it,
bit
but
that
I
was
didn't.
enjoying, to be honest.
Oh, well, thanks very much. But he was very kind to me, so I
This
think
is
he wanted...
massive,
I
isn't it?
know, isn't it, though?
No, it's not.
Well, he wanted to get paid for his work, so I think he was very kind to my nose.
Oh, really? He was shaving it
in
down.
the silhouette. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. So now I know what I would look like if I ever did decide to have my nose fixed, which I don't plan to do, thank you.
Good.
There we go. Cash games are different from multi-tables and single-table tournaments. We've kind of gone through basically the structure for multi-tables and single tables. Not really going into the blind structures, whereas the blinds do go up every certain number of hands, say every 10 hands or every 10 minutes. But the main difference now, looking at a cash game, is that the blinds never do go up. That's
Never
one
change.
of the main differences, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you. So the blinds here are 25 cents and 50 cents, no matter whether you play this game now, or you come back to it in 3 hours, or you come back to it indeed tomorrow. The blinds are always going to be the same. So some of these games actually are pretty much never ending. People kind of float into them, they float out of them, and that's how it goes. And if you do bust out by getting rid of your entire stack of chips there, you can go off, reload, and come back. It's not like a tournament in where you have just the one life. So you can see that some of these people have done quite well. This is probably fairly close to the beginning of when these people sat down. Wouldn't you think so? Lizard's definitely
It might be.
increased his stack, because usually they do, what, 100 times the big blind is the maximum they're allowed to put down?
$50, yeah, in this case would be the maximum. So Lizard's obviously having a nice run. And yeah, your cash game, as Kara says, the blinds stay the same. And that means there's very little pressure to do anything. And that means that you can make money playing really quite tightly.
That's right, which you've said to me is it's good in that you don't have to be terribly creative and worry about becoming short-stacked in the middle of a tournament like I often do when the blinds are going up. But it also means that if you are a little bit on the impatient side, you might get a bit bored. So you might want to play more than one game.
You might, yeah. If you're a beginner, you want to be a little bit careful with that. The internet obviously allows you to play more than one poker game at once. So, yeah, I mean, that will dilute your concentration, especially if you're new to poker. But yeah, as you move on, it is definitely a good thing to do. The thing about a lot of cash games, until you start playing good players, is that they reward good fundamentals. If you play your good cards, and if you're able to release your good cards when you're beaten, and if you play aggressively when you play, but don't play too often, you'll tend to make money. Certainly up to, I would say, up to quite high money levels. That's actually all you need to do. And I've got a recommendation for people. Now, I think this programme is about to be broadcast on another channel.
Really?
So, not this programme, the programme I'm about to recommend, which is probably out of order.
Oh, I think it might be.
I mean, don't actually watch it, get a friend to watch it or something. But you can watch it on the internet, which is where I've watched it. It's High Stakes Poker, and it's a cash game. It's a big cash game, very big cash game, with a lot of the household names. Look at this, 4 of a kind.
Wow, you don't see that often. And numero
Flopped
37
as well.
is not going to believe that he doesn't have the best cards here.
No, he won't. It looks like a good flop for him, doesn't it? Flop 4 of a kind is a lot to 1.
It's a lot to 1 if you're looking at odds.
Yes.
That's why we have the experts here. For your benefit, you people at home.
I can go up to about 8 to 1, and then it just becomes a lot.
A lot to 1.
Yeah.
Run out of fingers.
I mean, you know, people get very enamoured of statistics, but basically all you need to know is the odds of flopping 4 of a kind is a lot. And even better than flopping 4 of a kind is getting paid.
Yeah, getting someone to go all in like that. Being up against King Kong, not bad.
No, not much blame attached to numero there. Very hard not to go broke there, I think, because as you said, it does look like a good flop for the Kings.
Who's going to go in with a pair of 9s, really? Like that?
Well, it's just very hard for him to think that he's beaten there, definitely.
Absolutely.
I was going to recommend a programme, but we'll talk about it after the break.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, I think.
It's High Stakes Poker. It's a big, big cash game featuring people like Negreanu and Doyle Brunson and Jennifer Harmon and lots of them. And there's some very interesting things I've got out of watching it, which I will share with you all after the break. Don't you go anywhere.
That is something to definitely stay tuned for.
Yes.
You won't be wanting to miss that.
It's not the only thing.
Oh, no.
There's loads more.
Oh, gosh, yes. Lots and lots more. I'm going to be playing it Beat the Presenter. So if you want to watch that, watch people try to beat me, maybe beat me, maybe
I don't think
not.
I have a chance tonight.
I don't think so either.
Full of spunk tonight, aren't
Oh,
you?
nice. Very nice. We'll see you after the break. Hello and welcome back to the second hour here of Poker Night Live. It's Friday night. The World Cup has started. Everyone and their dog has pretty much been watching the World Cup probably today already. But today, here, tonight, we're doing poker.
Well, we didn't
As a
watch the World
change.
Cup because we were preparing for the show, weren't we?
Obviously, for hours. I don't even know what happened. I couldn't even tell you.
8 hours of learning scripts, but it's all worth it because...
You can tell how seamless it is and how we make it look so easy. Yeah, there you go. Now, we're trying to get you involved at home, letting us know what kind of poker you're doing at home.
Shout out.
Shout out to all those people who are having home games, maybe going out to play at a tournament, maybe going to a casino or
Extra
something.
points for a football barbecue home game Saturday. Extra points for that.
See, I was invited to one of those, and I can't actually go because I'm working tomorrow. Not on the show here. I will pass along your name. I think they figured they could take money from me. So if I sent you along, you'd probably win, and they may not speak to me again.
Not if I do the beer thing, then they'll be fine.
They'll be fine. You won't win a thing.
I won't win a thing.
I'll have a think about that.
We could play for hot dogs.
That's not a bad idea. Play for meat goods and whatnot. I think
Meat goods.
Excellent idea for barbecued
Product.
meat product.
Yeah.
Yes. Lamb, pork, doesn't matter. Okay, here's an email from Biter. This is Biter. He says, "Hi there. How you doing? Great team on tonight. Looks and wit. You decide which is which." He
Both
says.
Cara.
Oh, bless. Yeah, just me. Oh, you're so sweet.
Let's be fair.
You're so sweet. He says, "I've been playing online for about 6 months now, and I've watched your program for about 8. We hear that you should play premium hands and position. Excuse me, and position. But what do we end up with? Ace-ace, king-king, queen-queen, ace-king. But we've also been told that you may have to lay down queen-queen and ace-king to a big raise or a re-raise. Having been playing today and losing with kings and aces, I wonder what cards are left. Surely, especially on beginner night, it should also be fun." Very good point. I just played the most... It's true. Don't laugh.
I'm not laughing.
Good. I just also played the most boring 30-seater ever and won $18, but I hated it. Earlier, I lost $30 on a multi-table tournament, but enjoyed it as the players were actually fun. Surely there's more to poker than just playing aces and kings. Thanks. You know what? I think you're right. I think it's beginner's night here. It's amateur night, so playing only aces and kings. I mean, we don't advocate only ever playing
I don't
aces
understand
and
what
kings.
his point is really. It's very confused because
No,
he's making two separate points.
Yeah.
One, first of all, he's saying, can we play other hands to win? And second of all, he's saying he doesn't enjoy not playing hands. Well, that's two different questions.
No, I
It
think
depends. It depends whether he wants to have fun or he wants to win money. Personally, when I win money, I have fun.
Right.
That's how I enjoy myself.
I see.
Yes, I have your money. That makes me smile. I'm having fun. But maybe other people are different. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that a lot of people have made comments, say in the chat boxes when we're doing Preet the Presenter, that why they play certain sites is because it might be more sociable. And even though the standard of play is a lot higher, and so you're not guaranteed as much winnings, maybe it's quite a good. It's a good crack for fun. You meet people that you see quite regularly. You have conversations. You get to know people. You don't only play aces and kings. You do try maybe a few sneaky moves. You do try to bluff a little bit. You do try to, mix it up a little rather than just being a robot and going kings, aces, bet, re-raise, la 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 la, and just playing, as we say to play. But, and let me just say this, it's tools, not rules. We're not saying only ever play aces and kings.
Well, nobody's ever said that on the show. I mean, his summary of the hands that we tell you to play was nonsense, with all the greatest respect.
Not.
He said, you only say play aces, kings, ace, king. Look it up. He says you only need to play 5 hands and you have to put down through those to a re-raise. Nobody on the show's ever said that.
No,
you can
but
play,
I can see
you can
how he
play a
thinks
variety
it.
of hands depending on your position and depending on the conditions of the game. If 5 people limp in, you can play... 5 people limp in, you're on the button, you can play almost any 2 cards, actually.
Okay.
We've never said it may seem like that. I am all for having fun when you play poker.
Yeah.
But it depends whether you want to win or not. Because there is a way to win at poker. There are certain fundamental rules you need to employ. Like, say you had a game of chess and you have fun with chess when you push all your pawns up the board, because it's like a little pawny race, and then you see how quickly you can get your little pawns taken, and it's brilliant, and that gives you a right laugh. Well, that's cool, but you won't win. So it depends how you get your kicks. It does. I mean, I have fun when I play poker, and I am, very rarely playing random cards. So it does depend how you get your fun out of poker. You can have poker as a social event.
Yeah.
That's great, and still play tight. It's totally up to you. I would suggest that if you don't like playing good cards, then poker as a game in which you win is probably not the future for you.
Okay, well, I would say, my opinion, that those games that you've been playing that you really did enjoy, go to those tables again.
Absolutely.
Meet those players again and do what you enjoy to do. If you're not winning, don't play high stakes. Make sure you never go above what your actual, the money that you can afford is. You can even play with play money. But if you want to, be all professional, make lots of money and do this, then you do need to follow sort of the basic fundamental strategy of poker. You need to know how to play, when to play. And
I say almost every show, and actually did a rant about it last time, is that if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be doing it.
This
and
is
that
true.
should extend to almost everything in your life, unless it's something that you have to do.
Yeah.
You should have fun when you do. You should have fun when you play poker. It should be fun.
Yeah.
However, if you want to win at poker, there are certain fundamental truths, and you can't, as he comes quite close to doing in his email, go, I don't want to obey those rules.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but that's why I was saying that there's a conflict there.
Okay.
You either, it's one or the other.
Right.
You can't win and do what you like. It doesn't work like that. I wish it worked like that. I wish you could re-raise with 8-3 and
have it work out.
Go crazy and then get lots of money.
Okay.
If you don't mind losing money, it's fine. Do what you like. And have fun, whatever you do, definitely.
Okay.
Personally, I get my kicks from taking other people's money. Call me a bad.
Well, hopefully I'll get some kicks doing this exact same thing, but for charity, of course, and beat the presenter. I'm nearly into a table, and I'll keep you updated on how that goes. But in the meantime, if you do want to respond to what Nick has said, ask any questions, or get us to send you a shout-out about a home game or a game that you might be playing this weekend, get in touch with us here in the studio.
When did we say only aces and kings?
Oh... Text poker in your question to 84222, or you can send Nick an email and remind him exactly when.
Come on, bring it on. I'm up for a ruck.
poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
I want a spirited argument.
Oh, a spirited
about
argument.
stuff.
How British. A spirited argument.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to hand this over to you because I'm going to now pay attention to my game and try to get into a proper table.
Right, so you're saying you're not doing any more talking?
No, I'm done.
Okay. Let's go to a poker game. Here's our multi-table tournament. Just getting you an update on the current situation as I pop on the analysis glasses for the next hour. Oh yeah, taking it up a gear, Kara Scott.
Yes, you are.
200, 400 are your blinds. Eyes down. I reckon that means you'd probably be looking to have 5,000 chips or so in this stage of the tournament to be completely comfortable. Bag Lady, good evening to you, my favourite Poker Night Live viewer. Do you know why, Kara?
Why?
She sent me a cake.
Oh, that's lovely.
She sent me a cake. Did you see it? Is it still in the studio?
Bag Lady, no. But
It
she
probably
is
got
lovely.
eaten.
She's a really lovely lady. I was so happy to meet her.
She is a lovely lady, but she's more lovely now.
She sent you a cake.
And fudge.
When did she send you a cake?
At the beginning of, what day is it now? Beginning of last week, I believe.
Why
Thank
did
you,
she
Bag
send
Lady.
you a cake?
Don't feel you have to stop at
Why?
1. Because for a year I've been asking for cakes to be sent into the show.
You sweetheart.
For a year. Like, you probably, I don't know if you're aware of this, but did you ever listen to the cricket on the radio? No.
No.
No reason why you would. Famous for the fact that their listeners used to send them in cake and they used to describe the cake instead of the cricket.
Oh,
I wanted something similar. I've wanted for months something similar.
that's really sweet.
And Bag Lady made it a reality for me, so
Oh,
I hope you win this tournament, Bag Lady, and you've got Ace King. That's karma, you see.
that's really, really sweet.
So this is our $2,000 added multi-table tournament, and there are 38 players left. So Bag Lady's in with a good shout. She may have to win a race here, though. The nine's just cool. And that's a great flop for Bag Lady. She could try a check here. No messing about. When you make quality cake, you don't mess about. Look at that, beautiful. I can't feeling that her goodness to us with the cake has been rewarded with those chips.
That's karma is what that is.
Well, I'm not sure about that move in from half face. It's not the worst play in the world, but I think you could try maybe putting in 1,000 just to try and encourage somebody in, because getting dealt queens with a shortish chip stack, that is your chance to double up in the tournament. So maybe take a little chance, I don't know. Different ways to play, different ways to skin the chaffinch there. Biter, please feel free to come back, because I did have a go at you about your email. I didn't have a go at you. I did have a go at him.
No.
I like him personally.
Yes. We don't know him
Just
personally.
his email to me was unfair on a number of fronts.
No, I don't think it was unfair. I think he was just trying to voice, you know, what a lot of people feel, which is, let's have fun.
Also hate what we say on the show. Good.
He didn't say he hated
Well,
it
that's the message I got. I think, to be fair, we have always said on the show that...
You're not going to let this go, are you?
No. I'm telling you, I want an argument.
You're so trying to get an argument
Yeah,
here.
I want a spirited discussion. I think we've always said, if you want to play poker for fun and get drunk and throw some chips around and you may get lucky, you may not, there's nothing wrong with that.
I think he's just
That's
saying,
good fun,
is it realistic to expect a person to only ever play premium hands?
I can do it.
Not all the way through a tournament. People have to loosen up their starting standards. Maybe he just didn't quite get that.
I think we're talking about lots of different things now.
Yeah?
Which I think that email was talking about lots of different things as well.
It's not a bad thing.
Another bad thing, no. I think it just worries me because I think, you know, if he genuinely thinks that's what we're recommending people do, I think that we're not getting the message over clearly enough.
I think you may have just done so in the last 10 minutes. I think it's quite clear that that is not how you feel about starting standards and fun and...
Really? I've made the point.
I think you might have.
Right. Probably move on then. No, on for Bag Lady. Come on, the Bag Lady. Cake Lady, I call her.
I really enjoyed meeting her. I really did. She was surprised. She thought I was much smaller in real life, apparently.
Yeah, you're not letting that go either, are you?
No.
Got no idea the crisis of confidence you caused, Pam.
Well, no, she didn't actually. It was someone else who just kept going on about how I looked so much bigger on telly. It's quite funny. I just like the idea of being tiny. It's great. People actually thought I was tiny. It's
Really?
bizarre. I've never been tiny. I tower over everyone in my family. I'm like a giant. Sorry, back to the poker. I apologize. I've still not gotten into a game. I'm
No,
just
clearly.
waiting. Just waiting. I've staked out my seat. I have
Good.
already asked at the table if anyone, you know, minded.
You can
No
watch
one seems
Kara. You can still play against her because the table's about to load up. You can also watch online, of course. You can do that while watching us in the background. So watch this nice table tournament. The blinds have gone up 300, 600 now. Not a huge jump, but potentially significant if you're short stacked. And a nice check raise by Charlie in the blind. I like that play. Very nice. Max
Apologies.
Dave. Trying to make it look like he's not being pushed around. Good bit of play from Charlie. Half face has the queens again with exactly the same number of chips as before, I believe. Kara's playing Daley Thompson's decathlon.
Oh no, I tried so hard to get into a game and someone sat down.
And half face wins the blinds.
Wow, I'm just going to try and sit down and then hopefully I'll get into my game. I'm sorry if I'm getting in the way of your commentary, Nick, with all my clicking.
It's fine. Commentary needed a rhythm to it, to be honest.
Well, I'm clicking like mad.
I think
Still
maybe
not
one
getting
night they
there.
should try a drum and bass. Brilliant. I think they should try a drum and bass backbeat to our words. Now, this is the stage of the tournament, I think, where a lot of players find it tricky. I think in a lot of ways it is the hardest stage of the tournament to know exactly how to play, because you know what good starting hands are. Quite surreal. She's in, ladies and gentlemen. We can all breathe a sigh of relief. Now I can hear a different kind of tapping. Tricky stage of the tournament because you know you need to build chips, but obviously you don't want to go out. Charlie's flopped a straight, but unfortunately Geordie doesn't have anything. Good evening, Geordie, by the way. Another attendee to the Poker Night Live get-together. So this stage of the tournament can be hard to play. What I always say is that you're looking for opportunities. At this point, it's still, cards obviously are still very important, of course they are, but it becomes slightly less about the cards and slightly more about finding good opportunities to make chips. So you should become a lot more active. In the early stages, you just play good solid poker probably. Now you need to be looking for those opportunities to make chips. Unless, of course, you have a big stack already, in which case your outlet may be different. Russ is going to double through here unless half face hits an 8. She doesn't. I think failure to become more active, to just loosen up that little bit and look for opportunities, is why a lot of you will find, if you just play your good starting hands the whole tournament, you'll find yourself just creeping into the money. Or getting bubbled regularly, or finishing, 30th or something like that. So that's what we're trying to do. Trying to steal the blind sometimes, trying to get heads up and steal pots on the flop, that kind of thing. And as we were saying with Malcolm the other day, if you watch that show, you should target the people you think you can steal from. After you've been playing for a round or two at your table, you should know which players will throw away their blinds without defending, which won't make tricky moves. And those are the ones who you should be raising or trying to play hands with. Simple as that. It's not rocket science, but it does require a little bit of courage at this point in the tourney. Kings in the big blind. A lot of deception. Two ways for him to play this. He could either call and check raise the flop, or if he prefers, he could re-raise right now. He decides to re-raise right now. Oh, and that's loose from Geordie. Well, hard to know what he could beat there, Geordie. Sorry, Geordie, mate, I think you could have passed that and still been competitive in the tournament. I don't want to have crosswords with you. We're close, but I think you could have passed that hand. Guys, get the emails coming in, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. We are here to receive your emails. That's the only reason we exist, for heck's sake. We're here to talk to you and make your game better, and also to give you a shout out this Friday night. Big Bob has emailed. Don't know if that's true or a rumour. He says, sitting on the TV table at the moment and got dealt 10-10 in the big blind. Under the gun raises. At this point I'm planning to re-raise, but someone then raises it up to $6 from mid-position, so that's triple the initial raise, re-raise, so that's a serious bet. I'm now thinking one of these has me beaten. Is this a good laydown or a very weak play? The flop comes 10-9 queen, so I would have hit trips, the re-raiser bets out, the other player folds, so I don't know what either had. Should I have called with a 10-10 or maybe even re-raise? Thanks for your help and advice. Keep it up. Help and advice is a pleasure and free. You're in danger of playing results slightly there, Big Bob. What you're doing is you're looking at, obviously, that hand stuck in your mind or made an impact on you because you probably would have won it. You have to be very careful in that with poker. Most of the time, you're not going to flop another 10, so you're not going to be in such great shape. I think you made absolutely the right fold. The problem with calling, with playing that hand, is you probably are behind. You may not be. You know, let's say the initial raiser might have had 2 9s and the re-raiser might have had ace king. That's possible. Most of the time, the re-raiser will have a better hand than 2 10s, but you know, you may be ahead. Your big problem in this hand is that you're in the big blind, so for the rest of the hand, you're going to be out of position. And I've been banging this drum quite boringly for some time now, but I think that position is so important in Hold'em, and I don't think until you've played Hold'em for a while, you can fully appreciate just how vital it is. But it's not a hand that you want to call with, because you're almost certainly going to see overcards on the flop with 2 10s, and then you really don't know if you're ahead or behind. You might bet out on the flop to see where you are, but that to see where you are thing's a bit weak because you've put chips in the middle and they may well be gone. So personally, I would fold that every time, except possibly in a tournament, possibly if I thought other people could be moved off a pot or were making a move. Situation you described, I think you did the right thing, and don't worry about what comes on the flop. Sometimes you would have won the pot, most of the time you wouldn't. So I think you did the right thing. Big Bob. I hope that helps. Keep them coming in, poker@pokernightlivec.co.uk. We're going to take a look at a cash game while Kara Scott plays in a tournament. Are you having fun?
I'm having fun, thank you very much.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
It is
Plays
unbelievable.
poker
Amazing.
for a laugh.
For a laugh and everything here.
While
I'm
on the
trying to
telly.
do maths in my head here.
Oh, yeah,
Just give
sorry,
me a
I'm
second.
disrupting your... I've totally disrupted your eye of your chaffinch. Got to do with bullies, eh, Kara? Punch them in the nose. This is a cash game, 25 cent, 50 cent. And we've checked in on this before, Snap It's still there, Tragic Trev's still there. And the two of them are seeing better cards than I can see them holding, because they both want to play with Queen, Jack and Ace 7, and the green makes a big bluff. Nothing for anyone again. Oh no, my apologies. Nick's got the aces and the button, so he's got plenty. And he bets 50 cents. And he gets a call out of the green. Well, the green seems to like playing a lot. And he also likes a bluff. We've seen that already. We've only watched 2 hands, so it looks like he's going to make it entertaining. 25 cent, 50 cent game, so they can put down $50 in one go. Now, that may not seem like a huge amount. 30 quid to you or I. I am actually trying to give advice to Kara Scott about poker while commentating on a poker game.
Sorry,
and
I'm
trying to give
making it
advice,
difficult.
trying to give advice to Kara Scott with my lip movements only.
I do apologise.
No, it's cool. The greens hit a 9, and Tragic Trev's got a straight draw. Wonder if you want to bet it. So as I was saying, you can put down $50. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you can win or lose enough in one of these games. And if you... Oh, the straight draw comes for Tragic Trev. He has the straight. Yeah, you can win or lose a lot, and I was just going to wait to see if he bet or not. He does bet. Big bet. And the green passes. Trev maybe should have bet slightly less there. So don't be deceived. Don't think that you're entering a small game, because you can still get through £1,000 in a few nights on a game like this if you have a bad run. And as I think I was saying, you can also make a living in this level game. Some people do. Well, the green looks like a very interesting player, doesn't he? Very aggressive. Trying to bully people off every pot. But he can't shift either of his opponents this time. And that's the problem. And it's a good bet by Tragic Trev. Bet again, force the issue. There's draws out there. And he made sure he got his money in when he was ahead. Nicely done. Thanks for the email, Tragic Trev. Tragic Trev sent an email which says, after your plea to send me an email, I thought I'd put finger to keypad and send you this. I'll keep it short. Regards, Trev.
Oh,
that's quite funny.
That is quite funny. I like Trev. Trev's very funny.
God bless
him.
And
he has a beautiful singing voice.
You'll never forget that. That's one of the highlights of your career.
I wanted to make it my ringtone, but I think we lost it. It's very sad.
Well, the green has flopped to straight. Yes, guys, I'm going to talk to you about High Stakes Poker, which is a TV programme, and I apologise to everyone connected with Poker Zone because I think it might be going out on a different channel soon, but I'm not sure about that. I watched it, I got it from the internet, so you guys can do the same. And it's basically just showing a cash game between some of the big money players in the world, and I think you'll find it quite interesting if you're interested in improving your poker. And one of the things that you'll find is how straight most of them play. They sometimes make a play on an opponent, sometimes they enter the pot with less than good starting hands, but basically 85-90% of the time they play as the textbook would have you play, or as... Cara, please don't cry. Just be having fun. Remember the fun thing we talked about? Most of the time the big money players play in a very straightforward way. Now, the thing that they have is fantastic judgment. They have absolutely excellent judgment. They know when somebody has a hand against them. They know when somebody's making a move against them. And that's what separates them. They also do play trickily sometimes. And it depends on the player, of course. There are some players that play, like Sami Farha, plays an awful lot of hands. But it's very, very interesting. I think the thing about it is it shows you something that the tournaments on TV don't show you, which is the value of good fundamentals in your game, and that you have to combine that with a little bit of trickiness and an ability to read your opponent. And those things will win you an awful lot of money at this game, no matter what level you play at. So do check that out. You can, of course, watch cash games every night here, and they should also tell you exactly the same thing. As we've seen night after night for months on this show, the players with good fundamentals, good judgment, good patience will get the money. And I'm sorry if that's boring, all right? Sorry if that's making some people upset and not have fun. There's nothing I can do about it.
Nick.
I'm only teasing. Big Bob with the ace-jack on the button. Calls. And Nick started an epidemic of calling. And he will hate that flop. Horrible flop for his two jacks. And I actually think he should check here. I actually don't think there's much profit in him betting. The odds that neither of his opponents, any of his three opponents have an ace are very slim. I think that's a good check, Nick. Well done. And Big Bob's going to bet, and the others may think he's stealing, but he's actually got the best hand. Big Bob has already emailed tonight, and you can too. We want to hear from you. Nick and Cara are awaiting your emails with bated breath. poker@pokerlive.co.uk. No matter if you've been playing this game for a day or 10 years, we want to hear from you. We want your questions. And also your stories. And also what you're doing this weekend. I don't even care if you're not playing poker. I'd just like to know what you're doing this weekend. Yeah. Big Bob folds. Well, what a fold that is. I don't understand that fold. That's a really curious fold. That's a really curious fold. Big Bob, I think you could have called there. You've got top pair and the other thing about that was Joey the Lips was all in, only had a limited amount of money that he could you could lose to him. The flush comes for Nick. Is he going to check or bet it? Just trying to find the right price. He may get paid here by the green. The green is certainly likes to put his chips in, but not this time. And a whole hunk of junk for everybody in this hand. I don't know what Joey Lips is thinking about. Whether to bluff or not. There you go. And the green may just re-raise him. He likes doing that. No, he doesn't. I do think that's often a tell online when players think about what they're doing for an excessive period of time. They're usually working out whether they can bluff or not. That's not 100%, guys. Please don't email me and say you said that and then he had a monster. It's not 100% by any means. But it's reasonably common that when players take a long time to think, they are deciding whether to bluff or not. Because if they've got a good hand, they're going to bet or they're going to check and trap, but they know what they're going to do. Whereas if they're going to bluff, it takes a little bit of assessing a lot of the time. So that's a little tip. Don't go overboard with it. Doesn't always isn't always true, but reasonably often. Oh, Tragic Trev wants to have a little pop with his sixes. Beaten by the green. Got a reasonably lively cash game. The shout-out thing's starting to happen, Kara. I've got a shout-out to do. I'm quite excited.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go shout out.
Well, I'm not quite sure about my delivery because on the radio they make it terribly exciting, don't they? You know.
You know.
You know.
You know how it is.
How it is.
No, you're making it quite exciting as well.
If only that were true. This is from Dirty Papa. I'm coming into vision for this. Quite excited about it. Hello. This is from Dirty Papa, and he's giving a big shout out to the Fear and Loathing in South Harrow Crew's poker home game, which we'll be playing tomorrow. And then he's written big up, like big up. Check it. There'll be more shout-outs if you want them. I hope that's had a big effect in the house. Have a fun home game. Tell us all about it after it happens, during it happens. That'd be cool. Poker@PokerNightLive.co.uk if you'd like a shout out. And if you're playing home game right now, extra points. Let's go back to the poker for cripe's sake. Before I get arrested by the trying to be something I'm not police.
Oh.
I've heard Normski's on his way to get me, which is never a comforting thought. We're watching this cash game on Poker Night Live while TV's Kara Scott plays in a Beat the Presenter tournament, which we'll be seeing after 12 o'clock. We've also got the multi-table tournament final table later on, guys, so plenty still to come. At the moment we're watching this 25 50-cent cash game, which has been quite interesting, actually. You've got the green making a lot of moves. A couple of very tight or solid players, Big Bob and Snap It, not playing too many hands. And Tragic Trev's having a good time at this table, chips-wise so far. Joey the Lips, another one of the livelier players. Is Pulsar onto him? Could he possibly call with his pair of fours? He cannot. Well, the green's actually flopped a hand. Top pair for the green is a monster. He usually doesn't need much less than that to bet with. Check raises. Joey the Lips calls. Quite sure why. For fun. That'd be one of those for fun plays I'm hearing so much about.
You have so got a bee in your bonnet.
That's fun though, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
It's fun. The green takes it down. The green, why don't you send us an email, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. You're entertaining me with your cash game shenanigans. Doesn't mind a bluff, and that's good TV as far as I'm concerned. Numero has a real hand, pair of queens. And I think he'll consider himself unlucky if he doesn't get action in this game. The green may want to play here. He does. And that may entice all kinds of people to play. Let's see. Snap It's not going to play 9-2. Joey the Lips will probably play. He likes to see flops. And that's a great flop for queens. Not too much to be scared about there. He can raise here, he does. I wonder if he'll get more action. Nope. But he takes the pot down, and that's clear profit. Well, the green is defining this game at the moment. I'm not necessarily complimenting him there. I'm not insulting him either. Why does it have to be a compliment or an insult? It's just a statement. What I mean is that the hands are being defined by whether he's in them or not. If he's in them, then chips are likely to fly. If he's not in them, they can be a little bit more calm. Numero may re-raise, he does. And I'd be surprised if either of these players mucked. Well, not a bad flop for Pulsar. I mean, he's now got the best hand. What's Numero put him on, I wonder? Well, Numero thinks he can take it down. And he can, he's right. Good judgment by Numero. Carol, can I be honest about something?
Yeah.
I'm looking into your eyes and I don't see the eye of the chaffinch.
You don't, do you?
No. You need to get that back. Oh, there's a big sigh. Two types of people in this world, Scott, quitters and winners. Don't you go from B to A on me.
Oh, that's refreshing. I like that. I'm trying to play well, and it's
Yes.
just not going so well.
Well, from
Right.
what I've seen, you haven't had the best of fortune with the cards.
Well, you know, I'm doing my best here. Well, the ladies on the table that are watching are being very supportive, which is awfully nice, I have to say.
Good.
And they're giving me good advice. I've got, Farce has just said to take a deep breath and start again the next hand. I think that's excellent. I think that's very good.
Always good advice.
Good advice.
Hey, you've got some chips and you've got a seat at the table. You can win it. This is no limit hold'em.
True.
You know.
That's
You've
true.
won it from 80 chips.
That's true. Back from 80 chips. You never know.
You never know. Well, it looks like we can have a friendly pot here. Everybody wants to play for the minimum. And Big Bob spoils the fun. And gets his flop as well. And puts in a crafty little check. Well, I think it's a good bet from Nick. He may well have the best hand. Obviously, we can see he doesn't, but he doesn't know that. And now he's got an easy fold. Oh, I think a reasonable amount of time that bet will be profitable. What he doesn't want to do is make a mistake now and actually play it. That check paid off for Big Bob, made him $4 extra, which is going to be gratifying for him, I reckon. Joey the Lips. He worked the South Side in the Prohibition era, I believe. Running numbers for Johnny the Potato or something, I don't know. Well, a terrible flop for Joey the Lips. And he goes broke on it. Well, that's the value of kickers in this game of Hold'em. Unfortunate, of course, that somebody's got a bigger ace behind him, but it does happen. Another interesting hand, the green with the overpair and the flush draw for Nick. Well, that's a little bit of a weak bet. Oh, now the flush draw comes. You see, the green could have bet bigger there, and he could have got Nick off this hand. As it is, he's allowed him to draw at it for not enough money. Object lesson, guys. If you think there may be a draw, or if there's a chance you're up against a draw, and anyway, you want to put the pressure on people. If you just bet small, then they can call with anything, and they might outrun you. They might make a miracle two pair. They might make their straight or flush draw. Put the pressure on with a proper bet, if you're gonna. And the green didn't do that in that hand, and Nick made his flush and reaped the rewards. Morrison comes into the game. We've lost Joey the Lips, which is a shame because that was one of my favourite names we've had for a while. And I am that easily pleased, yes. What of it? Tragic Trev with the flop that he wants to see. Will the green start to try and push him around? Nope, he's gone, showing Trev the respect he deserves. More than the respect he deserves, to be fair. I'm joking, Trev. Ace King for the green. Actually got a real hand. And only makes a small raise, so Morrison may play here for another 50. 50 cent.
You are so street.
Do you know I am?
You are so
I am.
street.
I am. Becoming more street, if anything. Guys, we still want your emails. poker@pokernightlIve.co.uk. Good response so far tonight, but we need more. Your questions and queries this Friday night, and also you get to tell us about what you're doing. And we will give shout-outs to home games, like a one-off special offer. Interesting move by Snap It, trying to pick up the dead money in the pot. And I think it's quite a well-judged move, actually. The green calls because he likes to call. He does like to see flops. Snap It won't be too worried about him. Go on, Snap It raise here, yeah, good play. And another one for Snapper. He's kind of grinding out his profit here. An object lesson in how good fundamentals will get you the money. Does Morrison want to raise here? If you've got a loose player like the green, it's never the worst idea to isolate him, as Snap It did the hand before, and now Morrison's done this hand. And I think Tragic Trev could have raised there, actually, but he elected not to. He's made the set. This could get interesting. The green's got the flush draw. Tragic Trev should bet this now, I think. And he'll be hoping that the green does it for him. He does. And he can check raise now. Come on, Trev, check raise. Nice play. And the flush draw doesn't come. So I think that's all the chips that Trev will be getting out of the green on this hand. He moves all in. I don't think that's going to get called, I'm afraid. He's not really thinking about anything. And the Tragic Trev takes one down. And it's interesting how, I hope you've been paying attention to how the green is basically dictating the hand, and that players now isolating him. They've realised he's messing about and playing loose, and now he's going to have to make an adjustment or he's going to lose some money. Kara's at the critical stage of her sit and go and enjoying it.
I am enjoying it immensely.
We'll see the results after the break. Stick with us, guys, and write us an email during the break. Why don't you? poker@pokernightlIve.co.uk. We'll see you in a minute.
Hi, all. Welcome back to Poker Night Live. It's Friday night. Well, Friday night, Saturday morning, depending on your perspective there, and we are carrying on with both the poker and a little bit of the football, because if you are not aware, if you live under a rock somewhere, it is World Cup, and it did start today, and it's very exciting, and I'm trying so hard to be enthusiastic about it that I keep bringing it up. See what I'm doing there? See what I'm doing there? I'm trying to get into the football World Cup. Go on. I'm giving it a go anyway. I've got all the gestures.
The Queen makes that gesture when she watches England at Wembley.
Really?
She goes, "Get in," like that.
Get in!
Yeah.
I like it.
That's one in the onion bag. Like that.
I like it. We've been trying to figure out...
That was my Queen impression.
I know.
Probably the last time I'll ever do that.
Was that Freddie Mercury or was that Her Royal Highness?
It wasn't very close to either, let's be honest.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What have we been trying to figure out?
Queen, sorry.
What have we been trying to figure out, did you say? You said we've been trying to figure out...
Yeah, I know, and then I was going to go a different way there. Speaking of Queen...
Sure.
I'm going to Barcelona in a couple of days, by the way.
Yes.
But we've been trying to figure out...
That was smooth as butter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've been trying to figure out the similarities between poker and football. Try to draw some correlations. Make the connections there. Maybe you think certain players are like certain hands. We've had a few situations come in that are like each other. And here's another one, and this is from one of our regular viewers and our regular writers in of the email. Could have said that a little bit more fluidly. This is from Zitty. Zitty says...
Hello, Zitty.
Hello, Zitty. He says, evening to Cara, gorgeous Scott. Well, thank you. And no nickname Wealthall. There you go. So now you have a nickname. It's no nickname
That's
Wealthall.
quite good.
Yeah.
That's quite clever.
You like that better than Nick the Hare?
Yes.
So do I. There we go. Why is football like poker? Because when it's all going well, it's easy. And then when it goes tits up, it's just so annoying. And this is true. No one else's pain or mishaps are as bad as yours. True. They're both stupid games, but I wouldn't get rid of either of them. Those are Zitty's words, not mine. And he said, yeah, my nut straight was beaten by quad eights, but I'm not bitter. Love and peace. Oh, there you go, Zitty. So I agree with you. They're both just games, but they're compelling. And they become passions, lifelong passions for people.
I think they both also are games where... You'd be serious for a moment. They're all the sort of games where more skillful players will beat less skillful players.
Yeah.
But in the short run, there is an element of luck. I think that can be said to be true of football and poker.
Yeah, football as well.
Absolutely. On any given day, a bad team can beat a good team in a football game.
Okay.
But over the long run, so over a season, the good team will finish at the top of the league.
Yeah.
On a given
Skill
day,
bears out.
in a knockout tournament, for example, in the World Cup, it is possible that a lesser team will win because there are, once you get to the knockout stages, there are 4 sudden death matches. So.
True.
So I think they have that in common.
Ah, very interesting.
That is my serious one.
Yet another correlation to be drawn. If you have any correlations to draw between poker and football, or if you're tired of that whole thing, not like me, because I'm enthralled by the whole football thing. See me? Enthralled? You can send us an email, let us know what you're doing. We'll give you a shout out if you are doing some poker this weekend, if you've got a poker, football, barbecue type thing coming
Still waiting
up.
for our first football, barbecue, poker Saturday claimant.
Not
Don't
seen a
lie.
single one.
Don't lie.
Don't lie.
Don't
make it
just
up.
be doing it.
Yeah, but text poker and your question or your comment to that number that was just on the screen, 84222, or send us an email, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Tell us what you're doing this weekend, poker-wise.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
I've been thinking about it, and I think I love you. No, not that. I've been thinking about it, and I think I might do the whole football, barbecue, poker thing on my own. Is that weird? I actually think I'd quite like to be in my flat, watch the football, eat some meat, and play poker and not have to talk to anyone.
I'm worried about you, Nick.
Yeah?
I am.
All right. Probably should have kept that up to myself.
You might have wanted to keep that one in
So
your
if you're doing it on your own, email in.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
as
not
valid.
weird. It's not weird at all.
It's normal. Perfectly normal.
Yeah, a barbecue for one. You can get those little packages
the
at
thing
Marks and
is,
Spencer's nowadays
but
or
you know,
whatever. And,
at barbecues, you go to a barbecue around somebody's house, and they always have like 4 prime Angus burgers that they bought from like the finest section, and then they have the value burgers. So it's always like a fight to get the nice stuff before they move on to the right. Absolutely every barbecue, have it on your own, And you can just you guarantee all the good stuff, don't you?
This is true. Although I had a barbecue on the weekend, and I went and got all organic hamburger from the organic butchers around the corner because he is wonderful. It's a place called Archer's, and they sell the very, very best organic
He's trying to
meat.
get a free box of meat.
Yes, please, bring me a free box of meat. Well, there you go. But no, he is, they're great. And I had my own barbecue with like 40 people came, and they all ate very well.
And then they all played poker.
Well, they didn't actually.
Just to legitimize talking about this on
they
this
did.
show.
They all played poker.
Yes,
yes,
I knew
they
it.
did. Yes,
I
they
knew
did.
it.
And it was wonderful.
Yes.
I've been trying to teach people to play poker more and more.
Oh, that's a...
Considering how good I am at it, I think it's good that I spread the word.
Are we going to see how good you are at it?
I think that's a very nice segue into
Beautiful.
this section, Beat the Presenter. Let's take a look at how good I am. And there I am. Great
straight
Scott.
into a pair of sevens.
I know, and I thought, okay, it's been folded all the way around to me. I'm in the small blind.
Apart from Kev Steele, obviously.
Well, Kev Steele is limping in, so I've made a silly bet of 70.
I like that play.
I figure I've got a pair of sevens. It's vulnerable.
I don't know what this means to you, but I would have done the same thing.
Really?
I don't know what that means to you.
It makes me proud.
Good. And he's called you, and you need to bet again here.
But
Great Scott! You've done a good thing, then a less good thing.
I know. I really didn't know where I was at that point.
Well, you're almost certainly in front.
But
If you think about... Hold on.
Okay.
Think about what he could have.
He could have had a jack.
Of course he could. But the odds of him having a jack are very, very slim. And he's given you no evidence that... Don't look at me like that,
He
young
limped
lady.
in, so he's probably has something, is what I was thinking. It could have been a jack.
But
now I've got ace jack. Ah, now this is interesting. Sorry.
Well, was it interesting how, once again, I'm going to be proved right?
Yes, it is, because I started to steam pretty much at this point in the tournament, the second
Yes.
hand in. I've got ace jack. Johan Heron behind me has king king.
And you thought he was bullying you.
I thought he was bullying me.
And when we had the discussion before, and when you promised me you'd learned,
I know.
what did we say in this
We
discussion?
said people mostly don't try to bully. What they're doing is they're playing the cards that they have. And it may be by bad luck or good luck for them. Good luck for them, bad luck for you. Whenever you have a hand, they have a better hand. So I've asked the question, he's answered it, and I've just had to put my cards down.
Yes.
But
and
he did this
you
a
need
few
to,
times.
Well, we'll see, and maybe he does bully you later on. We'll see.
Okay.
But the thing is,
I did steam though.
you need to not it
Or
can't
tilt,
affect
sorry.
you.
I was tilting.
You did
Steaming is a
tilt.
backgammon term. I
No,
did.
steaming is a poker term, but
Is it?
steamy implies that you're angry. I think you were more kind of despondent. It kind of took the...
Well, I was angry first.
And
There was a bit of
despondent.
bouncing up and down
You
and
definitely
anger
tilted.
and just, you know, and you did keep writing on a
And-
piece of paper patience and circling it for me.
Didn't work.
No, it didn't.
But I think this is really good, because the whole point of you guys playing Beat the Presenter on amateur night is that people at home
Can see
learn
how amateurs
things.
play.
no, learn things.
Yeah, true.
And it was the same with the pros, actually. I don't know why I'm saying there's a distinction. If you get good cards and you hit the flop and you win, that doesn't actually teach people very much.
Right.
If you have a situation like this where somebody's re-raised you a couple of times and it's had an emotional effect on you, well, then that's something we can learn from, isn't it?
True. I want to know what I should have done. So
Okay, well, we got. I'm still interested in the sevens. I'm also interested in the ace jack.
you don't
Well,
think it was
if you
likely
look at
he
the
had a
ace
jack?
No. You checked before he'd done anything. So what are you basing the fact that he's got a jack on?
I'd raised, didn't I? Didn't I raise? And he's
You-
called it.
Yeah, before the
I
flop.
bet, and he's
before
called
the
it.
flop.
So he's got something.
Yeah.
So he may have had
But
a jack.
but you don't play what he may have.
Right.
The whole point about poker is that you want to be the one asking the question.
True.
Right? If you check to him, he's able to bet any hand and put you in a difficult position.
Right. No, you're
Whereas if you
right. Yeah.
bet to him, you put him in a difficult position. If he's got a jack, you're going to know about it because he's either going to call your bet or he's going to raise you.
You're right. And
With
it
a-
wouldn't have been that expensive anyways to even put in a half pot size bet there. So that was silly to have just checked it.
The thing is, it was silly
You're
to
right.
check it. And the
You're
thing
right.
is that you're out of position
Yep.
and that makes the check worse because it invites him to bet because you've shown him weakness.
Yeah.
On top of that, the sevens, Jack 4 is a good flop for a pair of sevens.
Yeah.
Because if think about the possible hands he could have.
He could have a jack and
He's
anything.
very...
Sorry.
He could. He could, of course he could. But actually, that's statistically the least likely hand for him to have. Because there's 2 jacks on the flop, which lessens the likelihood of there being one in his hand. Make sense?
Yeah.
So let's go through what beats you in that situation. A bigger pocket pair beats you. Well, if he's got 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, kings, aces, he's probably going to raise before the flop, right?
Right.
He's probably not going to limp. So it's unlikely that he's got a bigger pocket pair than you.
Okay.
The only other hand that beats you is if he's got a jack. And the thing with him having a jack is that it's statistically unlikely.
Right. Okay. Which is
Until
fair.
he
I
gives
can
you
see what
evidence.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just assumed and I got scared and I just didn't even ask a question. You're right.
Ask the question. Get scared when they raise you.
Fair enough. Here I've got ace king. So I've put in 3 times the big blind, and Johan Heron's called me. See the flop, and I've got a straight draw.
And there's a decent chance you've got the best hand, but no guarantee.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if Johan Heron is just not believing me when I put in my bet, if he just wants to see what's going to happen, if he's going to... So I put in a half... Oh, that's not a half the pot size bet, sorry. That's what it was meant to be.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with the bet.
Okay. He's re-raised it.
Uh-huh.
And...
Right, well, here's the situation. He knows how you've been taught to play.
Right.
And he knows that there's a good chance that you could have... oh, that's an interesting call.
Yeah?
Hang on, well, let's just watch it, and then let's just watch it, and then we'll discuss it.
I had the straight draw, but it didn't come good. And at this point, I just think, okay,
Well,
I cannot spend any more money on it.
He's made a very bold bet
Yeah.
there, to be fair.
Okay. Did I play that badly? Or just weirdly?
No, I think... What do I think? The bottom line is Johann's played it well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like-
fair play to him. He definitely
He's
did.
played it well, and sometimes people make a good bet and you have to throw your hand away because you don't have a pair even, you've just got ace high.
Yeah, that's
and it's
what I was
extremely
thinking.
difficult for you to know whether or not you've got a winning hand. You probably haven't. So in a lot of ways, he's just outplayed you in that hand, and that's going to happen sometimes. There's nothing wrong with your raise on the button, obviously. There's nothing wrong with your bet on the flop. He's check-raised you, and that means one of 2 things, right? It either means he's got a good hand, and he's just trying to
Lure me in to spend
invest
more.
your money,
Yeah.
or the other possibility is that he's bullying you.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to play your hand anymore, you can just throw it away. There's nothing lost in that
Yeah.
because you don't have a pair. If you think he's bullying you, you've got 2 options. You can either call, as you did, and see what happens on the next card. He
Yeah.
then makes a big bet. So then you've got to be incredibly courageous to call it because
Yeah.
he's made a good bet and he's won the hand. The other option is to re-raise him again.
I considered it,
Yeah.
but I just
If
didn't
you
know
think
where
you're
I
being
stood.
bullied. Well, that's a good way to find out is to re-raise again. You have to be brave to do it.
You're right. I lacked that bravery. I
Well,
really do.
I think it's a tough play to make. I'm not even saying it's the right play to make. You have to take a view. I think you found yourself in a tough spot against a good player.
Yeah. And I was quite conscious that I was in a tough spot against a good player that I know is a good player. I mean, we watch him play. I know he's a good player. So I thought I should probably respect his answer to my question.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even his question to my non-answer, or however that goes.
Well, when he check raises you on the flop and you haven't hit your hand,
Yeah.
his timing is good on that occasion, and you most of the time you're going to put that down, or you're going to put it down on the next street. So it's just one of those things. The thing about it is that it affected you for the rest of the game, because
It honestly
because
did.
with the kings as well,
Yeah.
When he had the kings, you thought he'd bullied you. So you thought
I
he
did.
bullied you twice, and you thought, you know,
He
I could see
probably
you.
did
You
bully
thought,
me
how am I
once,
going to play in
yeah.
this game when somebody sitting to my left has got my number?
Yeah.
And, you know, you'll get sympathy from poker players all around the planet on that, because if somebody sitting on your immediate left has taken a couple of pots of you, hey, if it makes you feel any better, there was a World Poker Tour event a while ago where Phil Hellmuth, who's one of the best Hold'em tournament players ever to walk the planet, got beaten up by a guy sitting immediately on his left, and he couldn't play a hand because the guy re-raised him every hand.
Yeah.
Bullied him. So it does happen.
So it happens to everyone
It happens
at
to
some
everybody.
point. I mean, and it wasn't even that bad. I mean, it's not. I shouldn't be going on like, "Ooh, he
Well,
bullied me so horribly," because he didn't.
You
It
shouldn't.
could have been a lot
you
worse.
shouldn't, but it has an effect. The thing that you should have done is what I think somebody was advising in the chat box, which is you lost chips on that hand, but it's gone now. Let's look at your situation. You've got 15, 70 chips left, and the blinds are 20 and 40.
Yeah.
So you're fine.
True.
You're fine.
Yeah.
You have this problem, which is somebody on your left who's playing aggressively against you, which is, you know, obviously not ideal. But you don't need to let that ruin your tournament.
Yeah.
And the problem with poker is when you do get dispirited and your confidence goes, it becomes very difficult to win. Because it's very difficult to make
Yeah.
good decisions if you're not confident.
Because you do need to have that certain amount of nerve, don't you?
You do, yeah.
I think so, and I did.
And
kinda
also,
lose it.
you need a certain amount of nerve, and also you need a clarity of thinking when you play poker. And if your mind is dominated by an emotion,
Yeah.
particularly a
That's
negative
fair.
emotion, it's very, very difficult to make good decisions. That's true in anything in life, isn't it?
It is.
If
your
we're upset
mind's
or
not
angry
clear.
or whatever, you don't
Yeah.
make good decisions.
You're right. You're right. I think I probably wasn't in the right mind frame to be playing poker. I probably should have, yeah. Although I did enjoy the chat in the chat box, I have to say. That was
But
very
it's
nice.
really, you know, it's hopefully interesting for everybody at home to understand the impact of that. You know, if you're sitting at the poker table, guys, and you're feeling angry or pissed off or upset or like you're not having fun, please get up. Please go and do something else.
Yep.
Please, you know, go and do something that makes you feel good. Because sometimes poker can give you the best feeling in the world and you have great fun. Other times, if it is doing the opposite to that, don't do it, because I promise you, you will not win money.
I think that is very true.
It's very true.
Yeah. And don't chase bad money either if you're
Oh
losing.
no, never do that. That's
Yeah.
bad.
Bad. Very, very bad. Yeah. Well, that's a bold move there, Sausages, with a pair of fours. But he has position,
Interesting call by Johan.
so... Oh, and he's...
Then they checked it down. Sausages
They
couldn't
respected the river
fire the other
principle.
bullet.
Yeah.
They respected reference to the end.
But it does take guts. I suppose you're looking at the narrative of the hand, what people are saying by the things that they're doing. So he knew that Sausages didn't have a king because of the way he played. He was quite certain of that. Or he felt he was certain of that enough to continue playing with only a pair of sevens.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, a pair of sevens and a pair of tens.
it's not the best play I've ever seen Johan make, I don't
Okay.
think. I know he won the hand. Unless he's played with Sausages a lot and feels he knows something about him, the way he plays from the way he bets. I don't know.
Okay.
That's possible.
Now, poor Up Your Ante did say he was lamenting the fact that he could not get the cards. Couldn't get the cards. And he did say if it was possible to, I believe, claw back some sort of respectability in the eyes of his girlfriend, if I could mention the fact that, yeah, he just couldn't get the
Mention the
cards.
fact that he has a girlfriend.
Yep. Poor, poor, poor.
And now she's
Auntie.
been mentioned on the TV.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that nice?
That's
Oh,
nice.
yeah. Oh.
I don't have a girlfriend, Kara.
Do you not?
No, I'm not bitter about it, though.
That's good. You shouldn't be. You're a lovely young man.
I'm having a barbecue on my own. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have guessed that you didn't have a girlfriend from that comment. Not at all.
Set of fours for River Daz.
Mm.
And he'll be desperately hoping that Kev Steele has something.
Mm-hmm. He's put in a tiny little feeler bet. Kev Steele's bit. Re-raised it.
Yeah, he's got 160 chips more out of it than he probably should have done. And now Castile will fold, obviously. But a nice pot for the Dazzler, as I call him. We're very close.
Really?
Yeah.
You and the Daz, just like that.
Like that.
Like
Kara's
that.
got King Jack.
I do, and I haven't got a clue what to do with it because I feel
You're
bullied.
on tilt, yes.
I'm so on tilt. You were at this point, I think, circling the whole patience that you'd written down.
Patience, relax,
Patience.
chill.
Grasshopper, patience. So I've limped in to see the
You've
flop.
limped in.
And I've got a flush draw.
Flush draw, and you've also got position. Nobody's come in behind you. So we're hoping you bet here, Kara. Classic semi-bluff situation.
Do. What's she gonna do? And there she does. She bets half the pot, and they both run away.
There you go.
I've got
like
something.
It. More like it.
That's nice.
Good for the old confidence.
Yeah, it kind of helped because I was feeling a little, on the tilty side. Yeah. Wow. Pair of sixes for sausages. Tiny little bet, but he takes that down. Now I've got ace-10. No idea what to do. Again, still tilting. I threw it away.
Well,
That's a bit embarrassing. It was bad position.
I'm never going to argue with anyone throwing
Really?
away ace-10 first position.
Okay, good.
I don't play it in first position.
Oh, good. Because I wasn't, I just figured I'd be out of position. I don't know where I am. Even limping in, it might just be throwing those chips away because someone, like fishing for chips, might have a hand and bet into it.
And he did.
And he did.
There's nothing wrong with throwing weak aces away in first position, young Scott.
Ah, right then.
Don't you worry.
Good, good.
Well, fishing for chips is going to have to bet something at some point. He wants to check again. I don't understand that. Just giving free cards away.
Giving them away.
Giving away, and that's not good. I bang on about this on a nightly basis.
Go for it.
When people have good hands, they wait until the river to bet them.
Which
and that's
is
the hardest time to get
counterintuitive,
paid.
really. Yeah.
Because your opponent can't improve his hand, so there's less incentive for him to put money in. And in fact, a lot of the time, the only time he will put money in is when he's beating you.
Okay.
So a lot of the time, if you've got a good hand, you should invest money on it. And if they haven't got anything, and you don't win anything with your good hand, well, that's part of the game. But the times that you'll win a lot, oh, here we go, Kara's got a hand. Top two pair.
Ooh, ah, ooh, ah.
That's a good hand, but you don't want to slow play it because you could be up against a flush draw or a straight draw.
Yeah, that's true.
Kev Steele's not got much. An inside straight draw.
So he's put in a tiny little bit of 40.
Tiny bit. And what are you going to do? Little raise.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. Oh, that's horrible.
Isn't it, though?
There's not much you can do about that. If people are going to hit their middle pins, and what are you going to do now?
Well, at this point, I think I was gesturing wildly. I was pointing at the screen and mouthing to you, it's not fair, it's not fair. I bet he has 10 queen. And, but yet I still thought, no, he couldn't have. But
I quite like the call there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, because...
I just checked there on the end, like you suggest.
Well,
obviously. I had two
if you look at the hand, remember in poker, we're not interested in whether we have a winning hand or a losing hand, because we're going to play a lot of poker.
Right.
And eventually, we're all going to have winning hands and losing hands, right? That's a losing hand. It's a bad situation for you. You've got a good hand, but somebody's got a better hand.
Yeah.
You look at that hand, you've lost the minimum amount of chips you could lose on it.
I guess that's not a bad thing, huh?
The only thing you could have done differently is you could have raised more on the flop and asked him a bigger question then, whether he wanted to play his middle pin straight draw. But actually, it's one of those tricky ones, because you want him to play his middle pin straight draw, because most of the time he's not going to hit it.
I know, that's the thing, isn't it?
And once he hit it, he made a bet. You were worried that he'd maybe run into something because you'd raised him, but he made a bet still.
Yeah.
So you just called him, you checked the end, you lost the minimum.
Okay.
That is just one of those irritating things when they make a hand.
Yeah.
Here's Johan Harren making a bluff.
And he does.
Everyone had checked it till then, so he thought, maybe these guys don't want to win this pot.
I know, and I was scared of him, so I just let him have it.
The general point I was going to make about you and Johan in this tournament is, if you feel that somebody is targeting you, or they are
he probably
bullying
wasn't
you.
even. He was just playing his own game.
Well, let's say that you feel that they are.
It, yeah.
Okay. The thing to do is to ask them a question early in the tournament, and not to wait. The reason is, if you let it go, then it's going to be, especially if they're in the position he's in, which is he's always got position on you.
Right.
It's going to be a problem throughout the tournament. So really, you don't want to let it go. The time to do something about it is early on, and the reason for that is the blinds are small, so you can afford to take a chance and re-raise him at some point. Because if he happens to have a hand when you take a stand, you can throw away your counter-bullying, and you won't have committed too many chips.
Right.
If you wait till later in the tournament to make a stand, you may well be playing for all your chips, and you know, it's hard to know when he's got a hand and when he's just bullying. So if you're in the situation again, you want to try and make a stand, and you want to do it earlier in the tournament. The two things to do are either you make a stand, what language the bullies understand, we all know a punch on the nose is the only way. You either do that, or you accept that that's going to happen, and you wait till you've got cards.
Okay.
Those are the two options that you have.
Yeah.
And you need to use your judgment depending on your situation, the tournament as a whole, the player in question, as to which of those two routes you take. But those are your options. But it comes back to what we've been saying about strategy and game theory in our many nights together, Kara.
Yes.
On the show.
Oh, yes.
Which is, who would you rather be? The person who's being aggressive or the person who's being aggressed upon? Would you rather be the bully or the bullied? The reason that Johan's a good player is that he's not afraid to back his judgment and ask a difficult question, answer a question that's difficult to answer.
If I did some of the things that he does, though, people would slate it. But then I don't think I could pull it off properly. I don't have his history,
Well,
I don't have his image,
you
and I don't have his skill.
It's not about pulling off what he does. It's about slowly improving your game and your judgment.
Yeah, you're right.
And adding different things to it.
True.
And don't worry about getting slated. What do they know? Whoever they are.
Yeah, but no one's going to make me a cake if I continue to lose, really, are they? I suppose it could be a consolation cake.
I've never won Beat the Presenter. I got a cake.
That's true. Bag lady likes you.
Bless her.
I know. She's a lovely lady. I just wish you'd saved me some cake.
I think there is still some left, you know.
I think that's shabby. I think I would like some cake.
So blinds are 40-80, and you're one of the shorter stacks, but with this structure, you've still got every chance of winning the tournament.
And thankfully, the lovely people in the chat box, like some of the other female players, were giving me that exact advice.
Bit of girl power, wasn't it?
It was nice, and I felt, you know...
Oh, your auntie's got ace king. What's he talking about? Oh, you didn't get any cards. Wow.
We had some there, didn't we?
Tell you what, if I was his girlfriend, I would be ripping.
Oh, be nice. He won that one, but he didn't get paid a huge amount.
I have to be honest, we've been talking about you so much, I didn't actually see where he lost his chips.
No, I didn't either. I don't recall.
I bet his girlfriend didn't either. I bet he said, you can just pop and get me something from the kitchen.
Oh.
Just before he knew that.
Oh, yes. There we go, Jack 10 on the small blind. Unfortunately, and see, this is, again, Joanne Heron has queens. You're right. As always, Nick, you are right. Isn't that amazing? Every single time it happens, I'm still amazed. I should just learn to expect it. You're always right. I thought if I go into this pot, he's going to bully me, and I just let it go.
Well, you don't have, you know...
Didn't have position.
You need to get chips in the tournament at some point. They don't have to be from Johan Heron, you know?
I know. I'm just too scared to play against him.
Never have fear at the poker table. You heard Johnny Chan.
That's true. Do you remember that, Johnny Chan being here?
When we talked to Johnny Chan.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
It's nice to be close personal friends with a 10-time boasted winner, isn't it?
It really is.
As you and I both are. That was clear, I think.
Well, he offered to buy us jewellery.
That's right.
You know, as soon as one of us wins
Can
our
I be honest,
10th
though?
World Series of Poker bracelet.
He'll get us a watch.
Yeah.
I do wish he'd stop calling my house.
Oh, yeah.
He's a lovely man, but it's getting a bit... You know,
All
"All
hours
right,
of the
Johnny.
day.
No, I won't give you any more advice.
No, so you should invite him over to your barbecue for one.
Yeah. But he did say, I hope you remember him saying, he said,
Yeah.
you can never play scared, you always have to play with confidence.
It's true. Well, this is from a man who bluffed someone off of an $850,000 pot when they had nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the guy he was playing against had a king-high flush. Now that is just unbelievable nerve.
Yeah. Well, here's a situation you've called, which I think is fair enough, with Queen Jack, and you've got a position. And Castiel's got a 7, he bets it.
Yeah, but I figured it's
And
like
you're out of
king-queen.
options.
Yeah, it's like king-queen. You cannot play it when there's been a raise.
What, Queen Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you might argue with me on that. See, my head's all over the place at the moment.
It is.
I'm
Well, you're
misunderstanding and
just down on...
misrepresenting.
No, you're just down on confidence.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
I thought it is. But you won recently, didn't you?
I did, yeah. It wasn't that
Couple
long
of
ago,
games
was
ago?
it? Yeah. Yeah, a couple games ago. Not so bad.
Uh-huh. Let's see if Posh Boy wants to play this. No. PUFC Boy, he knows I've got a soft spot for him because my mum supported Peterborough United as a girl.
Oh. As a young slip of a laugh.
Tens for Kev Steele. I don't think he's going to get anyone to come along with him. Ace 10 for the Scot. Again in first position. Again doesn't want to play. Again,
No.
I think that's fair enough.
Okay, good. The position
You've got
was
a
bad.
you've got a full table. You've got 7
Yeah.
players to act behind you. And
This was my concern. Exactly that.
you also got a chip situation now where the big blind's 160. So if you make the standard raise of 3 times the big blind, that's 480. That's half your stack. So if someone re-raises you, you're going to have to call.
Yeah.
So really, you need to be careful about your decisions now.
See, I've not made hugely bad decisions, but I'm still really short-stacked.
But Kara, sometimes that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's,
I know, I just wanted
that's-
to point it out. I haven't made really
No,
bad
you haven't.
decisions up to this point.
You haven't.
But, you know, some whoppers are coming, I'll tell you.
And any time you've had a good hand, somebody else had a better hand when they
Yeah.
made a straight on you. So really,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's the killer about poker. It's the only game where you can play perfectly and lose.
True, because someone plays perfectly and wins, or
No,
plays
because
imperfectly and wins.
because the cards, the short-term variance and the cards go against you that night.
Yes, I know. You do say to me, variance, variance, variance,
Variance. Who now? Who now?
Yeah, you sent me a message saying, "Do you understand variance now?"
understand
When I said I'd
variance?
won a game, and I said, "Well, I'm sorry, very who now?
Very who now.
Very what now?" Still don't get the whole variance thing.
I think one of the big game players, I can't remember who it was, but he said he'd had a terrible week because he'd lost like $600,000 that week or something. He said, but I'm convinced anybody else would have lost over $1 million with the cards I had. And
Yeah. Okay.
That's
so
the
make
nature
the
of the
best
game.
of a bad situation then.
it is a funny game like that.
It's a funny old game, poker.
It's a specific mindset and attitude that you have to be in if you're going to play a lot of poker. Otherwise it drives you mad.
Mad, I tell you, mad.
I've seen people go a bit mad, certainly. Fishing for chips hits the queen, and that's good enough. And up your ante is the short stack.
Oh, king, queen, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to have to go all in, aren't I?
Well, it's good that you're thinking that, because I'd say you're absolutely right. You've got 5 times the big blind. You can't wait for a
Better
big
hand than
hand.
that.
See, sometimes you don't just play aces and kings.
Oh.
You've got position.
Yeah.
You've got a decent hand. It may well be the best, so you've made your move. That's good. It's good.
It's good. And I'm thinking to myself, Johan Heron's going to call this. He's
Well,
going to call this.
The irony is that you want him to with Queen
know.
Jack. You want him to call.
But he didn't.
But he didn't. Up your ante. Well, okay, he's folded.
He thought about it, but...
You see, your aggression, you've got enough chips that you can...
Yeah. And he did say to me that I had been very mean to him because he had ace high and he thought that was where he was going to go all in because he's quite short stacked as well.
It's interesting that he threw it away.
Yeah?
Well, I think he had a...
I thought he might be pot committed there.
I wouldn't say...
Well, not pot committed, but I...
Yeah, but not having many options,
yeah.
Because if he passes, he's only got 600 and something for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
And he may well have the best hand there. I mean, you're short stacked.
True. I might just be making a play because I'm
short
short stacked.
You may well be. I don't think he's made a massive mistake. I think that... I think it's completely understandable he threw it away. But I think that sometimes in a tournament, you just have to be brave and put your chips in.
Yeah.
As you were with the King-Queen. And...
Thankfully it worked out, but...
Bang, on and on and on and on and on. Aggression will win you money at this game.
True. True. Misplaced aggression will lose you money.
You have won a hand there where you didn't have the best hand. Ace-8 was the best hand.
Yeah. Yeah, true. True enough.
Actually, a little bit unfortunate that Johan didn't call you because you'd have been in a good situation there.
Really?
What? He had Queen Jack.
Yeah, but...
King-Queen against Queen Jack. Which one would you rather have?
True.
You're about a 3-1 favourite.
Yeah, I know. It just doesn't seem like great. I know it's good odds and everything. I could just see the flop coming down, and I could see the turn.
See, you have
river.
a defeatist attitude right
now.
now.
It's bad, isn't it?
It is bad.
I need to sort this out.
You're a 3-1 favourite.
I need to sort that out. Bad attitude.
Bad attitude. It's all about attitude.
Isn't it, though?
Everything is.
Yeah. And it's getting critical for a few of us at the table.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what to do here. I'm thinking, okay, if it gets all folded around, maybe I need to go all in. But Kev Steele is not really giving me that option.
Well, you've got a similar situation to up your ante.
Yeah. What do I do?
It's really...
yeah, I don't know.
It's tricky.
Isn't it?
Tricky.
Tricky old one, that one.
I think a lot of the time you've got the best hand there. Because he may well be just trying to bully you.
Yeah. Well done, Kev Steele. It worked.
It worked.
Now,
but when you get short stacked, you have a lot of marginal decisions in poker. It does get tricky. And he's not going to get any custom here, is he?
Well,
surely.
Probably not, but no.
Blinds are very big now. Everybody on the table is basically a little bit short stacked.
This is true.
Yeah, and Harron's had some nice cards this tournament.
He has done, yeah. He's got ace king there, big slick, in the big blind. Sausages is making his move right about now, and that's great for Johan Heron. Not so good for Sausages.
Kev Steele thought about it with King and Jack. Johan Heron heads up versus Sausages. He'll need a queen or an 8 to survive. No, sir.
Sorry. Unfortunately, the Poochie gets it.
Gone.
Gone.
But not forgotten.
See you later, Sausages. Right, now it's Posh's turn to make a bit of a move, but he doesn't want anyone calling him on that one, so he goes all in. 1,650 chips.
Well, it's only 5 times we got. Kev Steele pulled a pair of 10s.
Wow.
Wow. That's pretty tight. He could call it, and it's only half his stack.
Yeah.
Very, very good possibility he's ahead there, with a pair of 10s. Great Scott. You must be thinking about making a move.
I was, but I was thinking I was in too early a position. I wish I had.
Well, you'd have found aces.
I know, but even still, I think it was probably the right thing to do.
You certainly need to do it in one of the next 3 hands because the big blind is coming.
'Cause I was looking at that and thinking, okay, maybe I don't have to do it right now. Maybe I will get a better hand.
Yeah, marginal. I mean, as it happens,
Yeah,
he had the aces, so he would have been...
definitely out of it.
Actually, he'd have made a flush, wouldn't he?
Oh, don't say that. Actually, that is true, because I did say to someone, if I'd have just gone all in at that hand, I'd have made a flush.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing.
It's true. Instead, I timed out, humming and hawing about
it.
Did
you?
I did actually time out on that. And then
now you're thinking...
Yeah, poo. I should have gone all in. Now I've got Jack 8. Or maybe this is the one where I timed out again, just thinking, I don't know what to do.
It's very difficult, because you've got to the point where you can only raise the big blind by 400, and the big blind basically will call you anyway.
Yep. So I figure, I suppose I am the big blind. I'll just go with that then.
And so does Kev still raise, presumably? Does he?
I don't know. He might be trying to entice me to go all in. This is
Posh Boy's thinking about trying to steal the blinds, but he should look at your stack and realise that you'll probably call.
Yeah.
So he should throw this away.
And he does.
Kev still raises, and you call. Do you? You should call.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the kind of odds and whatnot, and
You've got 320 money. If you pass, you've got 430 chips left, and the big blind's 320. So you've got no utility left in the
at all.
So you did the right thing.
And I lost.
And you lost. Never mind, Kara Scott. There'll be another day, another dawn, another beautiful set of dreams to pursue.
But not this time.
Another sit and go.
Not this time.
Not this
and that's
time.
the sad thing.
Hard lines. Well, I think the most interesting thing about that tournament was the early stages you had and the conflicts with Johan and what to do when somebody's sitting behind you and being aggressive.
I think I made more of it than it was, though, in my head. It was much bigger than it was. In my head, it was a titanic struggle between, you know, good and evil and whatnot. And it wasn't. He barely even tried to bully me, and I just overreacted.
He bullied
massively.
you in one pot.
And I overreacted.
But that was a pot where neither of you had anything.
Yeah.
You overreacted, that's true. And I think any time you personalise poker, you're probably onto a loser.
Yeah.
You need to play your cards and your situation
right.
and the people in as objective way as possible.
You do tell me this each time I do this exact same thing. And I continue to do it.
You just worry about it too much.
I do,
but
you're right.
To be absolutely fair to you, it is understandable because, you know, you're a TV presenter playing on TV and your game is then going to be seen.
Yeah.
So you worry that people are going to be bullying you. That's fair enough.
I suppose so, huh? Well, I would like to play live at some point. I was invited by one of the ladies in the chat box to go to a tournament in Wealthall, I believe. There's a ladies' tournament.
That'd be nice.
But it's a bit far for me, so I couldn't really do it. But
perhaps they could come to you.
Yeah, I wasn't even quite sure where that was. I'm not incredibly good with the whole British geography thing, I'm afraid.
It's the Midlands.
It's near Birmingham, apparently, yeah.
Right.
Fishing for chips all in. Hits his king.
Yeah, Posh Boy's unlucky to lose a tens, of course.
And I have a feeling it's all going to fall apart very quickly here.
Well, Johan Haren's got a big chip stack and...
Oh.
I wonder if he'll call this. No, he doesn't. Quite right too.
Let them fight it out.
Yeah, it could be a split pot here. And it is a split pot.
And there we go.
Choppy, choppy. They get the blinds chopped up, basically.
Kings for both Johan Haren and Fishing for Chips.
Yeah, whoever's the most aggressive will take this.
Yeah, curious. I wonder. My bet would be Johan Haren. But then, see, that's still my residual feelings of...
No, I think you'd be right. You are going to be right. There you go.
And so he does.
No, you've got to, you know, in the cold light of day, Johan Harren is a good player, and he's an aggressive player like most good players are. But don't make him the boogeyman.
True.
Don't do that with anyone. People only have 2 cards.
Yeah.
Nobody should be intimidating at a poker table, I don't think.
No, you're right.
Except Johnny.
And Johnny is intimidating. It's incredible. He can be the most lovely, affable man, this Johnny Chan, and then he turns his poker stare on you. And
We saw that, didn't we? That was scary.
Frightening. Medusa-like. Turns you to stone,
Yeah.
that poker stare.
And Johan Harren playing very aggressively, using that big stack,
Certainly is.
putting the pressure on the smaller stacks, asking them if they want to gamble for their whole tournament. And Posh Boy is in a horrible situation where he's only got 1 big blind left if he passes this, and yet he's got terrible cards. I don't envy him. And he calls, which, you know, he probably kind of had to. And he's managed to hit.
He has indeed.
So there is the value of calling with bad cards, because you're getting 3 to 1.
Right.
And most of the time, unless the other player's got a pair, you're not 3 to 1 behind. So if you're in a situation late in a tournament and you're in the big blind and it's going to cost you 3 to 1 to call, you probably have to, whatever your cards are, to be honest.
So the risk is lower than your... No?
Well,
Your reward is bigger.
there's 2 things. One is that, oh, Kev Steele's going to get called in a shot here, I think. He likes that move from the small blind, bullying the big blind. Problem is when the big blind picks up a hand.
Yeah.
Now, Johan's thinking, because Johan doesn't want to play against another big stack. Johan wants to bully the smaller stacks,
Yeah. But when you have the cards...
and he's been outrun here. Kev Steele has hit a hand on him.
Yeah. Had the flush draw, but it just did not.
And that's why you see Johan now, half his chips are gone. And
Ouch.
he knew, I'm sure there, he knew he had the best hand. And what he was thinking was, do I want to play for this many chips when there are other people with smaller stacks?
Yeah.
He wasn't thinking, is my hand good or not? Interestingly.
Okay.
Nice time to find the jacks, especially against ace-jack.
Oh, yeah.
About a 25% chance for fishing for chips, slightly less actually, I think.
Yeah?
But he's got about, well, he's hit an ace or some sort of freaky straight.
Well, the freaky straight is not there, and neither is the
And
ace.
here's the ace.
We say goodbye to another player.
He's
And
going to fish for chips somewhere else.
down to the bubble.
The bubble.
Down to the bubble. Mirror Daz is the shortest stacked here, so we'll have to see if that means he's going to be the next one out, because it doesn't always follow that way, obviously. But he does have an ace, so he might think this is the time to make a move. He's also got position, which is important. So he is going all in.
Well, he has to. That's mandatory, isn't it? He's got an ace. He's got the button. He's only got 3 times the big blind. Anything other than going all in there is a mistake.
Gotcha.
That's how strict it is.
I will have to remember that.
And
And he's got an ace again.
yeah, he should probably do it again. 4-handed, ace-8, usually going to be the best hand. Not
Right.
always, obviously.
It's
But-
worth it, though. 'cause-
Yeah, good bold play. And
Yeah.
if you can pick up the blinds at this point in the tournament, they're massively important.
Well, it certainly changed his position relative to the others. Now we are very close to the end of this game, but we're not going to manage to see all of it before we go to a break. So we're going to pause it for people and show them the ending
tease.
after when we come back. Yes, what a tease. Obviously, I'm not in the final there, but it'll still be interesting.
tears.
It'll still be interesting in its own way.
Oh, look at this. What does PUFC boy do now? I think he has to fold.
And so he does. Ooh.
Johan still leading with the ace.
And there's the ace.
A 10 gets Kev Steele out of this.
No. And he
That's the
doesn't get
bubble.
it.
Oh no, it's not the bubble burst. That's Johan doubling through.
And that's the end of that. For this little bit of time, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll show you the finish of that. We've also got the multi-table tournament to finish as well.
Brilliant.
And more emails, so make sure that you don't go anywhere, because there's lots more poker-related bump to come, isn't there?
More magic soon,
After
isn't it?
this. Hello and welcome back to the final hour here at Poker Night Live. We're very serious about the poker.
Hasn't it flown by
As you
tonight,
can tell,
Cara?
it has flown by, indeed. Indeed it has. In fact, it's flown by so fast, we're going to cut the banter.
Oh.
We're going straight back to the Beat the Presenter.
Oh.
We got to see how this finishes. Very exciting. Very, very exciting.
We're going to do their emails soon, though, aren't we?
Oh, yes, we are. We're just
I
going
like
to
the emails.
get this out of the way. And people can obviously still be emailing in because we'd love to read what you've got to say.
Sure.
That's excellent. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Anything you want to comment on, whether it's the Beat the Presenter game, you want to tell me how rubbish it was, whether it was
We're going to have a race
poker
here.
in general, a race to the finish to see who bubbles.
A race between Riverdaz and Johan Haran. Race just means a 50-50 hand. They call it a race. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're being a little on the patronising side.
Well, did you know that?
No. But I might
I give
have.
up. Is the producer listening? Because I don't want to do the last hour. Because Cara and I have fallen apart.
We've fallen out because you went and had dinner with someone else,
Yes.
not me, before the show.
Yes.
I'm terribly upset about it.
You are. And you've let that affect the entire night.
I have.
Riverdaz wins and knocks out Kev Steele. And that's the last time I try and explain a poker term to you to further your education. And
The last time, what, for the rest of our lives?
that's it. You've
I've lost it,
Blown
haven't I?
it.
That's it.
You've popped it up the wazoo. Riverdaz has got almost all the chips now. With those couple of hands. Johan Haran. Oh, he was desperate for PUFC Boy to do that.
Yes, he was.
And I don't think that was the best move by PUFC Boy. I understand what he's thinking, but Johan Haran only had twice the big blind, so he's going to call with any cards, and PUFC has a bad hand. So I know it's desperate stakes for him, so it's hard to criticise, but probably he could have thrown that one away and waited one or two more hands. So he's all in now. Johan Haran moves all in to isolate. He doesn't want Riverdaz to call here. He wants to be heads up. He wants to take away his big blind. It's a professional move by Johan. Take away that big blind and knock out PFC Boy on his own. But Riverdaz calls and flops a full house.
Ooh.
Well, that's the end of the tournament.
Wow. Interesting end
Yeah,
there.
Johan Haran made a move to try and isolate there and try and win the big blind. The flaw in the plan was if Riverdaz found a hand. Riverdaz did kind of find a hand and ended it in one go. 2 birds with 1 hand.
And there you go, with one hand.
That's my dream.
Okay, email from Ziddy. Ziddy's emailed us back again. Thank you very much. And he says, hi, folks. Ziddy here again. Watching Cara's game, it's obvious that Johan was doing his bully act. In real life, he wouldn't bother playing these sorts of levels. He's just being a TV tart.
Well, we all
And
are.
good luck to him. Don't really know what that proved. Well, we all do that. It's just how it happens, isn't it? He says, if you want to reverse the roles, you can come down to my level and bully me as much as you like. I can take it. I think you're doing okay. Which is nice. He's being honest. He's not saying I'm doing fabulous just to get his email read out. I'm doing okay. And that's fair. And he says, and great analysis by Nick, as expected. So well done, Nick.
Bless you, Zitty.
Thank you very much for the email as well, Zitty. That's wicked to hear from you. It always is nice to hear from our regulars. Got some more emails here as well. Let's see. We've got one here from Panaman Creel. Panaman Creel says, hi, Nick and Cara. Great show as always. He's sending an email at our request. Nick, in an online game where you have only 20 seconds or so to act, what's the best way to calculate your odds, and does the amount of players at the table or involved in the hand affect the odds in any way? Let's start with that.
The answer to that is that you shouldn't be calculating the odds at the table. You need to get to the point with poker where you instinctively know your odds in a situation. So, because the problem is if you have to sit there calculating your odds of making a hand and you're looking up on your odds chart and you're comparing that to the pot, that'll take you 20 seconds and you won't be there to make a decision. So what I advise you do is if you get in a situation where you're not sure about the odds and you have to work it out, make a note or remember using your brain or make a note, whatever you need to do, the hand, and then after you finish playing that session, make your best guess. After you finish playing that session, then go and look up the odds and remember it for next time. So when the situation reoccurs, you know them instinctively. Basically, it's just something that comes with experience and you will learn the odds. But you can't calculate the odds of a hand in a given situation in 20 seconds. You're absolutely right. I say that obviously when you get familiar with them, that's what you're doing. Of course it is, but you need to get to the point where you can do that very quickly. It's like darts players when they get down to a certain score and they know that it's double 17, triple. I don't play darts, but they know instinctively because they've been in that situation so many times before. Poker players are exactly the same. You get to the point where you know if you're getting odds to call or not. But the way that you do that is by continuously educating yourself. So remember the situation, then go and research it after you finish playing. Don't do it at the table. Just go with your best guess when you're in the situation and concentrate on other factors like reading the player and that kind of thing.
Okay, well, let's just finish off his second half of that question here. He's talking about the number of players and how that affects the odds. He says, where you may fold a rag ace, like ace-8 hand in early position, for example, how many players still to act or left in the game would you then decide to raise or get involved with ace-8? I realize this may depend on various other factors, but generally, when do you think a lesser hand like rag ace or a small pocket pair is worth a raise or an all-in, depending on the amount of players? Surely an ace-8 against one or two opponents has a better chance of winning than against 5 or 6, but can this be calculated?
Well, clearly he's heard me or others answer these emails before because he's preempted the answer where he said, I know it depends on other factors, but what's the answer? The answer is it depends on other factors, Creel. What are you trying to do to me? You can't take away my answer. Obviously, the fewer players you have, the stronger your hand is. And that's true of any hand because you have less opponents to take the pot away from you. The fewer people there are that can also win the pot, the greater chance you have of winning the pot. It's as straightforward as that. I can give you some rough guidelines on how to play a specific hand if you like. I'm trying to get you guys away from thinking like that. Here's the things to think about with ace-8. You have the ace, so you have the highest card in the deck. So that means that if your opponents don't have a pair or a better ace, then you've got the best hand. The problem with ace-8 is that if somebody else has an ace, as will happen when you've got 8 or 10 players more often than not, I believe, I think that's right, and they play it, they will probably have a better kicker than an 8. So they're going to have ace-9 or upwards. And that's why we don't play bad aces, as I'm sure you know, because when an ace comes on the flop, it's extremely difficult to know whether you're ahead or not. It's one of the situations actually where expert players, and I do mean expert, the top players will play bad aces because they trust their judgment as to when they're out-kicked. But I don't want you guys to get messed up in that kind of deal. Against 1 or 2 opponents, well, to give you a little bit of a flavour, if you're heads up and you have an ace, it's 89% of the time your opponent will not have an ace. So the vast majority of the time you will have the highest card in the pack. He's also 16 to 1 to have a pair, so most of the time he doesn't have a pair. So what I'm saying is if you've got ace-8 heads up, the vast majority of the time you have got the best hand. Against 2 opponents, I don't have the facts to my fingertips. Shoot me. But again, ace-8 will be the best hand the majority of the time against 2 opponents. But in a ring game, when you've got a full table, it's a no-no unless you're in late position. But, having said all that, there are circumstances where you may well play it.
Always other factors.
Say you're short-stacked in a tournament and you're in middle position, you may well decide to go all in with ace-8. So he can say, don't tell me it's not other factors as much as he likes. It is other factors too. I hope that's helped a little bit anyway.
Yeah, I think that was very well said.
Thanks.
Very concise, and that is from Panama and Krill, so hopefully that does help you. Let us know if you have any more questions. We will be taking them till the end of the show, and we're happy to hear from you as always. But for now, we're going to go to the multi-table tournament.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that.
I know. How exciting.
I love the multi-table tournament final table shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Let's see some
3
shenanigans.
players.
Ooh, okay, here we do. We've got the $2,000 added money multi-table tournament. That means there's a fair amount at stakes here.
What are they playing for, Kara Scott?
What are they playing for? Indeed, it's a fairly good amount of money, the pot.
For a $10 buy-in,
good.
remember?
Yeah, exactly. A $10 buy-in, starting with 112 entrants, remember. Now we're down to the final 3. So they've been playing for a good few hours here to whittle down that amount of numbers. The total prize pool was over $3,000. Considering $2,000 of that was added by the website, that's pretty good value for money. Whoever goes out next, which would be the third place winner, is going to go home with $343. Second prize is $530, and then a nice big jump up. The first prize winner is going to make nearly $800.
Ooh, mama.
Ooh, yeah. Not bad
For
for a few
$10?
hours. Yeah, $10 and a few hours of work.
Lovely.
Not so bad.
Well, 3 players still have a chance to take that home. The blinds are 1,500 to 3,000, as you can see. And that means that there's still plenty of play left. The short stack has got 15 times the big blind, and that's the short stack. So we could see a bit of play here, but of course it's no limit hold'em. It could all be over in 2 hands. 2005 Chelsea. I wonder if that refers to the football team or the flower show. What
do you think?
I just think those are the only 2 things it could be.
The flower show was pretty cool, you know?
Oh, yeah?
Maybe he won. Or she won.
One of those medals that they get
Oh, I like
for
that.
best plants.
Guess
Ooh, look
what?
at this. King, king. Now, what does he want to do? Is he going to raise and make it look like it could be any old hand? He is, and he's going to be gutted because he's not going to get played with. Always disappointing on a Friday night when you don't get played with. When you have kings. You sounded like that was Marge Simpson disapproving.
Right, Homer.
I'm not playing your games.
No, you're playing this one by yourself on a Friday, I'm afraid.
And you can see Panama Creel. You can go and do your homework if you like and find out the exact statistics on ace-8 three-handed. But this game's all about feel. So if you watch, as well as fact, it's about feel and fact, about those 2 things, tangible and intangible. That's the beauty of it. If you watch this three-handed game, I think what you'll see is that on the vast majority of deals, ace-8 would be the winning hand, just to give you an idea. Yes, West is going to put this one down.
Yeah, wisely so. Do you think Manx Dave is from Manchester or from the Isle of Man?
Very good question. I wonder
Is
if they'll
it?
let us
Is it
know.
really?
No, well, it could be either, couldn't it?
It could
I'd
be
say,
either.
yeah, very good question was probably a bit over the top. We'll settle for good question.
Yeah, let's settle for that.
Let's rein back. That wasn't my head hitting the desk, by the way. I'm fine. We're all fine.
Everyone's fine in the studio.
I'm so going to play poker when I get home.
Are you? I'm so not.
I'm really tired as well. I want to play.
I think I'm done for the evening. I think I need to
I don't think you're in a poker place.
emotionally refresh
Yeah.
before I play poker again. It's just not right.
Now, what will 2005 Chelsea do here? He does make the re-raise, and his timing is right. He's got the best hand. Nice move, nice play. And that levels it up even more. We've got a very competitive tournament. Ace-10, big hand at this stage. And he might get some action from the ace-2, because from Manx Dave's perspective, he could be just trying to steal his big blind here. I was assuming he was going to raise. He does. And Chelsea could move in here. Oh, well, this is trouble for Manx Dave, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Can he get away from this? It would be a quality fold if he makes it. No, he can't do it. And he's not going to like what he sees. Oh, he gets out of jail. Split pot. Well, he always had that possibility, but it was reasonably remote. Another jack or queen needed to get that split pot. And he's dodged a bullet there. I wonder if that means his name's on this tournament, because he would have been crippled if he'd lost that. Takes a smaller pot down and now has the chip lead. Well, 2005 Chelsea will be frustrated not to win that with the ace-10, but he needs to regroup, not let it affect him. And he's hit top pair. And three-handed top pair is usually going to be the best hand, guys.
Yeah.
Not always, but very, very often you're in a good spot with top pair three-handed.
You can only play by what you You can only play by the numbers, really, can't you, as well, at times like that. It's not as though you can see the other people's cards. We can do that through the magic of television, but you got to play what you think the best hand is.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll... nice flop for Guess West. Sometimes you'll get in a situation where you're playing against a player who is, you know, more solid, or you don't think he'd get involved unless he really had the goods.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, of course. There are other factors,
and you may
as
be
you
able
said.
Factors. You may be able to put down top pair three-handed, but a lot of the time it's going to be difficult to fold it. And we've still got a very competitive stack situation. Anybody could still win this. It's a reasonably asinine thing to say, isn't it? Everyone could still win this. Obviously they could. I mean, that's...
Is that true? Is it
That's
really
just
true?
always factually true, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is.
I'm sorry, boys and girls, I'll try and make my comments more pertinent.
No.
Well...
You're doing well.
Well...
You're doing well.
Guess West calls, nothing wrong with that, short-handed. And he's flopped a straight draw. 2005 Chelsea's got the big hand, ace-king, especially flopping it. You could almost have tried a little slow play there. It's such a big hand, three-handed. Obviously, Guess West has got the straight draw, so it wouldn't have been a good idea on that occasion, but most of the time, a slow play may be the percentage play there. Oh, great flop for 2005 Chelsea. Flops a straight flush draw. And that's probably the right thing to do with it. Move in if he gets called. He's actually a favourite there, isn't he? Well, he's got the pair already, of course. He would be a favourite without the pair, I think, with the straight flush draw.
There we go. We're still down to the final three. The money is a fairly significant incentive here at this point, because there's a fairly good difference between the three different places. Playing this long for that many hours, you're not going to want to go out and miss out on a couple of $100.
Well, that's the challenge of tournament poker, which is you have to play for quite a long time to get to this position. But this position is when you need to play your best, because this is when we get down to business. This is when we decide the carving up of the doubloons.
Yes, the carving up of the doubloons. It's the age-old...
Please don't pay attention to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Just go with the sentiment of what I'm saying, yeah? Because I'm struggling. 2005 Chelsea's had some quite nice hands. And those nice hands have taken from being the short stack to being right in the mix. I wouldn't say any of the three was particularly dominating the other two, or particularly bullying them or anything like that. But up to now, the three of them just seem to be playing their cards pretty much. They all like the raise from the small blind.
They do, so it's, as we always say in the multi-table tournament, the structure gives you a lot more play in the final table, so it's not a matter of all in, all in, all in. You still have enough play to make moves.
Yeah, very, very different to... Oh, and he's going to get called here, I think. Well, you don't need to make that big a move, and maybe Guess West might fold it. Well, I'm not... See, this is where I differ from a lot of players. I don't like the big all-in moves because I don't think they're necessary. Having said that, Chelsea could argue in that situation that Guess West would have called a smaller raise with his ace. So, who knows? More than one way to skin the chaffinch.
Yes, there are.
Guess West picks up the flush draw, Manx Dave hits a pair. A little bit of something for everyone. Well, these are two big hands, but neither connects on the flop, so the players may avoid going bust here. Incisive comment. Thank you.
Thank you. I thought that was necessary at that juncture.
Well, the pressure's all on Guess West now, and the other two players will probably avoid, as we saw there, probably avoid playing big pots against each other until Guess West makes a move. And Guess West's going to be in trouble here, I think, because he's probably going to move in. He probably should move in. Unfortunately for him, he's up against a bigger ace, and it is unfortunate. Three-handed. He's got a way out, though. Oh, he had lots of ways out. And he found one of them and doubles up, much to the frustration of the other two, I'm sure.
Yeah, at that point, you're just really hoping that the other player is going to knock out.
Absolutely, you are.
The other one.
Well,
it'd be nicer if you could, obviously double up your own stack, but you're that one step closer to the money.
Absolutely,
the higher
well,
money.
it makes an immediate actual difference because you're guaranteed second place, of course, which has a money difference.
Oh, yeah. And there's always at the top end of the final three, there's always a significant difference in money. So,
well, as a lot of poker players will tell you, there's probably too much money in the first three positions in most tournaments. But that is the reality in most tournaments. So that's what you're shooting for. You are aiming for these last stages, and the differences relative to the buy-in, the differences tend to be very big at this point. So like I said, you want to be playing your best. Guess West makes a pair. Well, makes two pair, actually.
yeah, the tough thing is to get paid when you actually have a hand, when you're three-handed. Because as you say...
That's a very good point.
Yeah, well, thank you. As you say, the odds are that your opponent does not have a hand, therefore trying to eke out a few chips is rather difficult.
You're absolutely right, and I would say there are two ways to get paid when you're three-handed or two-handed. One way is to bet and raise a lot, so a lot of the time you're bluffing, and then you're more likely to get paid off when you have a hand because players have seen you play a lot of pots and
they're not going to believe that this time you actually have something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other way to get paid off is to be more tricky and slow play more. So the rules are slightly different when we're short-handed because people will bluff at pots. So if you check and show weakness, you can quite often get them to commit money when they don't have a hand, and then you can pounce.
Okay.
So there's a couple of ways to get paid off, but you're absolutely right. That is the difficulty. Top pair for Manx Dave, and again, illustrating Kara Scott's point.
A point well made.
Point well made,
illustrated,
and well illustrated by the live play. He's hit top pair again.
Go on. And back and forth we go.
And back and forth and back and forth. Step to the left. It's different. Something else.
Yeah, something else.
Yeah, we had that point a little while ago where Guess West was the obvious short stack. But he's built back up, and we're now in a competitive situation again.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about MTTs, we have an email from one of our viewers, Joe, talking about MTTs.
Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Joe.
Good evening.
He says, hello, Nick, and the adorable Kara. Aw, well, thanks.
I don't get an
Like
adorable.
a great big teddy bear I am. And you, Nick, and you. Just wanted to get your thoughts on a play that's been quite successful for me, especially early on in MTT. So now we're looking at the
Good.
late stages.
I
Going
like
back
this
to
kind
the
of
early
email,
stages.
a little bit of a tip for the viewers.
Nice,
Let's see what we think.
Say, for instance, when today I had twos in the first level of an MTT, I flopped trips.
Uh-huh.
Made a pot-sized bet on the turn and got called by one player. We both checked the turn. And
He
then
means a bet on the flop. and
Yeah,
then
he must have
checks,
done,
and
yeah. We both checked the turn and then the ace comes down on the river. I then moved all in for more than 10 times the pot and I get paid off by top pair. I feel a lot of people see this all in on the river as a sign of bluffing, and I've often gotten paid off by top pair when I've made this play. Now this goes against the whole river principle that we're talking about, because you may not actually have the best hand.
Well,
So should you check on the river rather than...
It depends what the board is. I mean, a lot of times with a set three of a kind, you will have the best hand.
Right.
If there are no obvious flushes or straights out there.
Of
So
course.
it's not quite the river principle. If that works for him, then that's obviously a good thing. I think it does totally depend on the players you're playing against. So if it's
Yeah.
working in his game, that's great. I would say that actually I would have said the problem with making that play is that you won't get paid off. See, if I had top pair, I would be much more likely to call a smaller bet than I would to call a bigger bet. But players are different,
True.
and there's different ways to maximise how you get paid on your good hands.
Yeah.
But if that's working in the tournaments he's playing in, then obviously you should go ahead and do it.
And there you go.
There you go.
Go ahead and do it.
If it's working for him.
Yeah, if something is working
Personally,
for you.
it's not a play that I like,
Yeah.
but, you know, many ways to skin the challenge.
Yes, indeed there are. Indeed there are. Interestingly, I think Johan Heron has heard us calling him a bully.
You?
And Ziddy.
Yeah.
In his
No,
email.
that's the us. I just,
yes.
I didn't call him a bully.
No,
I
yes
swear.
you did.
No, yeah.
And he's emailed in. He says, hi, Nick and Kara.
Oh,
Regarding
hold on,
the
2
mail...
secs.
Oh.
We might have
We may do.
got a big question and makes the right fold. Sorry.
Well done,
Continue.
thanks, Dave. Johan Heron says, regarding the mail about me bullying on lower stakes, I play the same at bigger sit and goes as well. I play aggressive and I sometimes bluff, but I play the same way when I have a big hand and will often get called because of my reputation of being very aggressive. And I didn't really bluff that much and beat the presenter. I think I made it twice.
Well, he
Good
didn't.
luck
No,
in
he
future,
didn't
Kara.
bluff much, did he?
No, but that is what I said.
Free
I
roll
think,
for 2005 Chelsea, another spade. Doesn't come split pot.
I did say that though. I mean, I overreacted. I definitely did. I don't think he didn't try to bully me all that much at all. I built it up in my head as though he was really trying to bluff me, he was really trying to bully me, and I felt quite hard done by. And that was my own fault to start tilting on that. And you're right, he only did bluff a couple of times. It was my bad luck to be sat behind him or beside him. It just, and I
Yeah.
didn't react well to it. So, Johan, you're absolutely right, and I didn't mean at all to impugn your reputation. I think
Nothing wrong with
you
being
played
called a bully when
really
you're a poker
well.
player, I don't think.
Well, no, that's true. But
Well,
you
here's-
played really well.
Here's a good bet by Manx Dave. And if there was another card to come, Guess West would like this hand because he's got a straight flush draw, but that's all the cards they put out there, I'm afraid, unless they change the rules. Mid-hand, unlikely. Well, Guess West can't call here because it's the old thing of what can he beat. He can only beat a pure bluff. I don't like that call. I know we're short-handed and I know people bluff a lot, but he can only beat a bluff with less than a queen. He's trying to make a miracle call and Manx Dave's been betting throughout the hand. I think Guess West could have saved some chips there. Easy for me to say. All I have to do is sit back and watch.
Yeah. Easy.
In the heat of battle, it's a little bit harder.
This is true. It does make it difficult. That email we had earlier about taking the time to actually think through things when you've got your 20 seconds on the clock just tick, tick, ticking away can be difficult in the heat of the moment, like you say.
It is difficult, and I think we'll see the money going here. Yeah, Guess West, it's a good hand for him, King Jack at this point. He needs another heart or a king or a jack, or he's gone. We lose him in third. We have a heads-up battle.
We have our heads up. Well done. Third prize is $343. $343. Now the last two players. First prize goes out with $780. Second with $530. So that's a fairly big difference there. You've got a difference of over $200.
So now we're playing heads up. And as we've observed many times before, heads up is a whole different game to any other kind of poker, even to three-handed. Electric stuff. Heads up is always.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
It is electric. And there we go. Now they each think, I've got a high card. Ooh. And that's a heck of a flop.
Well, I'm not sure about the check from Chelsea there because... Oh, he's check raising. Okay. In that case, I
Ooh.
like it. Nice bit of play.
Nice
I
bit of play.
judged
Well
quickly and wrongly.
Sometimes it happens to all of us.
Especially me.
Oh.
Well, blinds 2,000, 4,000. They've both got over 100,000 in their stack, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of time for each player if they want to take it. As we know with heads up, it's a funny mistress. It can all be over quickly or it can last a while. It'd be brilliant to have a funny mistress. Both things coming together perfectly.
No.
Yeah. It's the dream.
That's the dream.
The quest
isn't it?
continues.
Mm-hmm. For the perfect woman.
Well, perfect's
Overrated.
over, yeah. It's overkill. Well, Chelsea's beating up Manx Dave at the moment. Is that a short-term aberration, or is it going to continue this way? Momentum is a factor in heads-up matches. Your confidence can ebb and flow over a few hands, and it's about keeping the lead, I think.
Yeah.
Being
I think
the
you're right.
aggressor.
That is what we see in heads up. It tends to be the most aggressive player obviously wins, unless, there's something comes down on the flop or on the river or
Yeah,
on the turn.
I mean, you can have a freak hand,
Aggression
of
is
course you
key.
can, but yeah, aggression is, as you so rightly say, key.
It is key.
It's the key to the secret.
Ah, yes, but what is the secret?
Another late 80s
Tune
dance
in
hits.
tomorrow to find out what the
Oh, is
secret
that tomorrow,
is.
is it?
Oh, yeah.
Are you doing tomorrow night?
No. I'll have to leave a note for someone. Explain
Yeah,
the secret
explain
of poker.
the secret, please. Oh, Max Dave's reasserting himself. Good bet on the flop, and we're back to even Stevens.
Manx Dave has a pair of eights. Okay. Very slow, putting in 2 times big blind. Chelsea just doesn't want to have anything to do with that because that might have been a bit of a tickle. Indeed it was. And they're battling it out. Back and forth. There we go. Manx has got middle pair and an ace kicker. Chelsea has a straight draw. But Manx was a bit more aggressive and he takes it down.
Yeah, Manx has had quite a few aces recently.
Yeah. There we go. So let's see what the next hand brings us. Manx Dave has, 5-6, but Chelsea's got an ace. Chelsea takes it without any fight whatsoever. Pair of 4s for Chelsea. Give it a go.
I tell you what, it's been quite a good heads up. It's been back and forth.
It has been.
The chip lead's been back and forth, and I think the momentum's been back and forth.
It has indeed.
I wouldn't like to call this, Cara, if I'm honest.
No, I know it's a difficult one to call. I think indeed. While we're trying not to call it, shall I read another email?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Geordie sent us one in. He's
hello,
a
Geordie.
regular. Hi, how you doing, Geordie? He did want to say a big hello to you as well, Nick. He was in the chat box, and he says, "Hello there, my two lovelies." Oh, isn't that sweet? Aww. Just to explain my dodgy all-in earlier this evening.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
I hadn't played a hand in around 20 or 25 minutes, trying to give off a tight image. Me? Never. And when I realised that the chip leader on the table had the big blind, I thought I'd get a call from him with any two cards. Unfortunately, it was King. As it happened, he re-raised me, which he did every round or two to any bet that was raised by a single player. I was hoping that when he re-raised me, he might just have had King, Queen, Queen, Jack.
We might have a resolution here, Cara.
Oh, maybe. Ooh.
Always reading the emails how we make that happen, isn't it?
No.
And he's flopped a set. A Jack would change it, and it doesn't. And it's not over, but Chelsea's in trouble now.
Chelsea is in trouble. That certainly turned around.
Well, it was a 50-50 situation, or a race, as I'm not allowed to explain.
But he could still claw this back. He really
Of
could.
course he could, yeah, of course. Yeah, he still has 10 times the big blind.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think I'm going to save Geordie's email while we're watching how
Okay.
this
We'll
finishes,
go back
because
to it.
we're going to come back to that, yeah.
Well, Chelsea will be hoping it doesn't finish anytime soon.
But 10 times a big blind, that's hard to come back from. Still,
It's not
it's
so hard.
possible.
It's not so hard. He gets his money in, he gets called and he wins the all-in. He's got 80,000 and Max Dave's got 120,000 and 540,000. Can't do maths. But we'd be competitive again.
He would.
And he's clawing his way back. He was 31,000 after that big hand.
He certainly is. He really is. Look at that. Go on, Chelsea. I feel like I'm in a football game.
Yes, they don't need your help. They cheat.
Oh, ha, ha, ha. Terrible. What a thing to say.
Well, I think I'm
But what a
pretty
fit
much on
manager.
safe ground. What a fit manager. But does he change ends at half-time?
Wouldn't the public like to know?
Oh, I'd like to know.
Queen 6 suited.
We're going to see a flop.
Ah, and we do have a flush draw. And bottom pair for
I
Chelsea.
think Max Dave is playing for the check raise all in here. That's my prediction.
Yeah, okay.
Check raise coming. No, I was incorrect. Well,
One more card to come.
I think that would have been the right play, but he's taken the pot anyway, so what do I know?
Here we go. Chelsea is doing his very best to claw his way back, as we've said. But once the blinds go up again, it's going to be even more difficult. So he's going to have to really work at this.
Yeah, and Max Dave's had a couple of hands now, and Chelsea's back down to crisis levels, I'm afraid. And the blinds have gone up, which doesn't help him. Things are looking grim.
This is true.
We can't wait too much longer. He's going to have to find a hand and make a stand.
Oh, I like the way you said that.
My dad
Quite
just made that
catchy.
up. Yeah, might use that in future.
Find a hand, make a stand.
Make a stand.
Some T-shirts printed up.
That's quite good, isn't it? Go places with that. He says it's now, and he doesn't have a pair, and he doesn't have a pair at the end, and the tournament is over, and Kara Scott's been caught on the hop, and now she's got to make herself presentable. She's going to be on the telly.
My earpiece fell out.
I know. If I hadn't said anything, we could have covered that. But
You could have,
I'm
but you-
grossly unprofessional and very
You
childish.
really are.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good tournament, wasn't it? Enjoyable later stages.
I enjoyed that
Well
very
done to
much.
both of you. Well played.
Yeah, well played, and thanks very much for giving us all that kind of enjoyment and the ability to go through it and take a little look at some heads-up play.
Absolutely.
And learn something. Learn a thing or two. Now, Jordy has sent us in an email, and I did read part of this already, but I'm going to go back over it because it was a little while ago. He's talking about his dodgy all-in earlier in the evening that Nick had pointed out. He said, okay, I'm not going to try to précis this. I'm just going to read it again.
Scott, a great woman in every way, not known for her praising.
No, I'm just going to read this. Jordy, here you go. Just to explain my dodgy all-in, I hadn't played a hand in around 20 to 25 minutes trying to give off a tight image. Me, never, he says. And when I realized that the chip leader on the table had the big blind, I thought I'd get a call from him with any 2 cards. Unfortunately, he had king-king. As it happened, he re-raised me, which he did every round or two to any bet that was raised by a single player. I was hoping that when he re-raised me, he might have had king-queen, queen-jack, or something, some sort of suited connector. Anyways, you all saw what happened. But I managed to make a $5 profit off the tournament. So yay, that's true. I mean, hey, a tournament profit is a tournament profit. P.S. Thanks to James' free education, I've made $1,400 in 2 weeks from a layout of around $50. Not bad, eh? Not bad indeed. It's great to see you two back together, enjoying the chemistry. Did you enjoy the buffet at the Gut Shot? And this is when we had our bit of a day out when some of the regulars came down to see us. Went to a poker club, had a bit of a buffet, and Nick and I did indeed fill our plates a number of times. He said that we did seem to enjoy it. He says, anyways, great show, guy and gal. Hope the rest of the show continues in this vein. I'm having a ball. Football? World Cup? Never mind. P.S. Big up the cats, he says. Take care.
I've been listening to James for ages and I haven't made $1,400 off of $50. Why is that?
Are you maybe exaggerating a little bit, Jordy? Maybe not. He
No,
probably isn't.
I'm exaggerating. I never listen to James.
Nice. I always listen to James,
You
but I think
totally should listen to James. He knows his onions.
He really does. The man knows his onions. There we go. Now we have one here from Guess West, who is one of our final 3. Guess West says, just a quick note to explain my outstandingly crud play on the final table.
Outstandingly crud.
That's just not really fair, is it, to himself? I was last 8 in a heads-up MTT at the same time. And going insane with one window popping up over the other every few seconds. When I called the minimum raise with Jack-Queen suited and the flop came King Rag-Rag, the flop was Jack-Jack-4 on my other table. My simple brain short-circuited and I thought I was trapping with trips. Ouch. When the turn was a 10, I realized my mistake, but was pot committed, to the extent that I thought it was worth playing the open-ended draw, especially since he'd bet pretty much every hand, hit or miss. So I thought there's an actual possibility my high card was good. Not being able to operate a computer is probably even more numpty-ish, she says, but just an explanation in case my play was puzzling.
Well, there's the perils of multi-tabling.
That is,
first
isn't
of all,
it?
well done for getting to 2 multi-table
That's
tournament
impressive.
final 3 at the same time.
Very impressive.
That's very good. But I think if you're going to multi-table, you do have to be very careful. I mean, one of the things is you need a big screen so that the tables can be separate from each other. Otherwise, you can misread what hand you have on what table. So that would be the tip. But it is, if you're going to play online, you have to accept the perils that occasionally you'll press the wrong button. It does happen occasionally. If it happens at a crucial stage, that can be bad. But yeah, the tip is have a big screen, then you can space the tables out.
Good handy tip there.
Thanks. I'm not paying for you all to have a big screen. I'm just saying that's what you should do.
Generally, good idea.
Generally,
big screen.
have a big tally.
Or you could have a whole room devoted to poker where you could sit in that room, never leaving the room.
That would be
Screens
cool.
everywhere. Oh, wow. Maybe barbecue being, you know, one of those little barbecues in the corner that you can get at supermarkets.
You're
You never
actually
have to leave the
describing my
room.
day tomorrow.
It just sounds like heaven.
That sounds pathetic.
You don't need the summer.
I need
Who
some
needs the
friends.
summer? Stay inside. Never leave your house. There
Do you
we
know the
go.
one thing that I need in my life right now?
What's that?
There's a couple of things, but the one thing that I need in my life right now is a device which allows me, and if anyone knows if this exists, please tell me, to take my laptop out in the sun
Yeah.
so I can play poker outside. It's some
I know
sort
what
of
you're gonna
screen.
say.
Do they exist?
I don't
Like
know.
a screen thing that makes you so you can see your screen.
Yeah, it's difficult though, because when the sun shines on it, it's like trying to look at your mobile.
You can't do it.
No, it doesn't work. There's got to be something in that.
At this point in human evolution, surely I should be able to play online poker outside on my big beanbag.
We have the technology.
I don't.
gotta be there.
I don't.
No.
Oh well.
But you will soon. I'm sure we will get lots of people emailing in with great ideas like do this over the screen, and then you can see it.
I hadn't thought of that.
See? That's it.
Awesome.
Incredibly intelligent, me. Right, Balrog, another one of our usual guys, has emailed in. Balrog says, morning, Karen, Nick. Morning to you, Balrog, if you're still awake. Had a beer or two and not won a thing. Probably a moral there somewhere, he says. Haven't emailed since the last time Kara was on, and it was a bad beat thing, which I know Nick doesn't like. So just emailing before I go to sleep to ask if you'd be so kind as to remind the viewers about the World Cup and England's first game tomorrow. Good night. And that's from Balrog. Well, Balrog, nighty-night, sweet dreams of football and English World
I think that's
Cups
quite
and
a funny
whatnot.
email.
It's cute.
Remind the viewers that England are playing the World Cup
Because
tomorrow.
everyone had forgotten in
Everyone
the
had
country,
forgotten.
generally. The big screens up everywhere, the bunting, the you know, general, the flags of it. I'd forgotten.
It does seem to be a level of hysteria we haven't seen before.
No, I agree.
I mean, it's always people get excited, but this seems to be a big deal.
It's a step above, isn't it? My friend Dave is having a massive barbecue, and he has decked out his entire garden with all kinds of flags, and he even went so far as to get the table, the white table with the red chairs. Everything is flags, and the police helicopter keeps flying over his house and everything. It's a bit mad. It's a bit mental. And it's his birthday, so happy birthday, Dave.
Oh dear.
So there you go. And we have another email here from someone who actually likes your idea of the solo barbecue and wants to be invited, but then it's no longer a solo barbecue.
no longer a barbecue.
That's the problem.
It's like Bill Hicks's thing about the only people that he likes are people that hate other people, because that's the sign of a quality individual, is if you hate people in general. The problem is it's very hard to get together.
Like Oscar Wilde says.
Come along, we'll have a meeting.
Don't really fancy it, thanks.
Don't like people.
Yeah.
What does Oscar Wilde say?
Oscar Wilde says that, or is it Oscar Wilde who said that any club that would have me as a member, I don't want to be a part of? Groucho Marx.
Groucho Marx.
Sorry, Groucho Marx. Oscar Wilde said that work was the curse of the drinking classes, which I think is brilliant, and it's on the inside of every pub loo stall in England, I think. It's great.
He was very clever.
He was a very clever man.
I reckon he was good at poker. So I'm just trying to...
Bring it back to poker.
Just to try and justify
No.
the unjustifiable.
My waffling on about...
Joint.
Fair enough.
No joint. So
Thank you.
I'm complicit.
Yeah, with the big
I
words.
started it.
And here's one from Yo Mama. Yo Mama says, and I don't mean your mother, by the way. It's not Sue.
Going street.
We're going straight. This is Yo Mama. And she says, or he says, Nick, what situations do you find that you get paid? I find it's when you have a better
On
hand
the
than
street
trips,
corner.
and your opponent has trips, that they really pay you off. Enjoy your solo barbecue. Regards, Yo Mama.
Yes, well, the situations you get paid are often when you have a good hand.
Up
your
against the
opponent-
second best hand.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where you'll win a lot of your money at poker. And also when you'll lose a lot of your money when you have a good hand, but somebody else has a better hand, even worse.
Yeah.
And that's why we say, of course, no good hands, just good situations. You can have a royal flush. If the other person has nothing, you're not getting paid.
True.
So, again, that's why poker's such a situational game.
It is indeed situational. We've seen that tonight. People, good beats, bad beats, the whole thing. Now, good luck with your solo barbecue tomorrow.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
it.
Look.
I know you're ready. Look at this. Look at this
I'm
leg.
so ready,
Look
so
at
ready to barbecue.
Oh, you so are.
People who have been out drinking are now being sick. I do apologise for that.
Well, good luck, England, in the World Cup tomorrow. That's it from us tonight.
Boo-boo.
Back again tomorrow night with more poker. We'll see you then.
See you soon.
No, really, you can go now. Time for bed.